nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, e.g., that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President. Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there. Here at the Next Round, we love our guests, especially our 2024 football regulars. Auburn and Alabama fans, we've got your guys. On Mondays at 9:25, we'll be joined by Alabama offensive lineman Tyler Booker, and Tuesdays at 9:25, we chat with Auburn quarterback Peyton Thorne. Join us and rep your team. Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, e.g., that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, here we go. Live show on a Friday, the Friday before Christmas. It is also the first ever 12-team college football playoff. I won't even drop teases of stuff coming up in the show. Let's just go take a look at South Bend, Indiana in the wee hours of the morning as people are waking up. Several images all over the place. This is inside the stadium. They got a snowman. Good morning from Notre Dame Stadium.
Snowman Jesus.
Look at that. Yeah. Look at there. There we go. Other stuff. This is Mike Golick Jr. 7 a.m. in South Bend. Cars already lined up waiting to get on campus with a light snowfall.
You know, it's funny that Brown, because, I was talking to our friends Chip and Zay in Austin yesterday, and Brown brought up the fact it just doesn't feel like the college football playoffs are upon us. And I asked Brown, I was like, is that more because it's Christmas? We've never had this before.
I don't know the answer.
And I think it's because Alabama and/or Auburn are
that's
not.
it. No, I think that's it.
That's not it for me.
Well, I mean, you
there's
look
Kirk
at this.
Herbstreit walking on campus this morning after he arrives from L.A. last night.
Yeah, this is why I bring it up. Like, Chip and Zay are like, man, this town is buzzing. And being Austin, getting ready for that Saturday afternoon game against Clemson. And you look what's going on in South Bend with all that traffic. I really do believe, Brown, if there was a game at Tuscaloosa this weekend, it would feel completely different.
Oh, it would, but that's what I'm saying. I had not seen any of this stuff or talked to anybody. That's all I'm saying is it just didn't feel, I don't know, like I was unable to gauge the buzz. Now, we have shown 10 cars waiting to turn into campus at 7 o'clock in the morning in the snow. I guess that's buzz. I don't know what it's like. I mean, Chip surprised me with his answer. And to hear Chip and Zay further say, oh, yeah, there's a buzz in Austin. I mean, that is surprising to me.
Well, I mean, how many people
on fire
this time of year would be on campus at all?
I mean, and it's
I know Brown was taking a shot with 10 cars. It could have been 100
I'm not
deep.
taking a shot. I'm
It
just
could have
saying
been 100 deep, though, right? I only saw 10.
Yeah, we showed 10 cars. I mean, I don't know that Notre Dame's on fire. I mean, that's the most expensive ticket.
Well, it's also 12 hours before kick.
Exactly. I was trying to figure out why they were there anyway.
Because I think it's a single file onto campus situation there through a guard shack.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, that's a pretty good estimate by me. That's maybe
still going. It's
traffic going the other way now.
Some people are saving their lights.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, all right, it's 20. I don't know. I'm not trying to take a shot. I'm saying I genuinely did not know how this would feel.
All right.
And
Brown is the humbug of the college football playoffs. My goodness.
As of right now, it feels weird. We have never seen this in our life.
It does, and that's what's crazy.
Weird.
Like, you think about, and we're all getting pretty old. I mean, the three of us are a combined wizard in age. But, for the 75, 80-year-old, I mean, in college football, I mean, some people remember the UPI. Got to be careful. UPI, UTI, UPI poll.
It was UPI.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, and some people listening are like, what the hell was a UPI poll?
Yeah.
But college football has changed so much. And for the older viewer tonight to sit back on their couch, first of all, a Friday night game.
Yep.
Christmas week.
Both those things also make it feel weird.
And a college football playoff, which we never had years ago, on campus. I mean, it's just so many different elements.
And that's my only point. This just feels weird because we've never lived it. That we're about to play an on-campus game days before Christmas.
Yeah,
I mean, this is just bizarre.
But
bizarro world.
I understand it feels weird. It is different. And we're having to put something new into our sports calendar.
Yep, which I'm excited about.
But that's what I was going to say. Can it not be weird and still have a buzz? It doesn't have a buzz around here because we're not part of it.
Yeah, but I didn't know if it had a buzz anywhere. And Chip answered that question for me, at least in Austin. And I guess in Notre and South Bend, it's got a buzz too.
I bet it does in Knoxville and Columbus.
I would hope.
Here's what I'm going to do for you guys. I don't think I know y'all have both been to New York, but I don't think you've ever been on a college football Saturday.
I've actually never been to New York.
You've never been to New York City?
Never been to New York City.
Awesome place.
Wow, I like it.
But these college football alumni bars, like the Ainsworth is the Alabama bar.
I have never gone on a college football weekend.
It is so much fun, though, because like literally almost every big university has their college bar in town. So this is a way I'm going to gauge it. I'm going to go tomorrow, either Texas Clemson bar, SMU's probably a little far-fetched, Penn State, and then nightcap Ohio State or Tennessee. and I'll get a little footage just to see what the buzz is like, because New York this time of year is all about people checking out the lights and the tree and the ice skating. But if there is a college football buzz at those particular bars, you know it's real.
Send them to Little T. I'd like that to be on our platform. That'll get great buzz. That'll get great buzz.
So,
that'll be good.
I've actually been to Chicago on an NFL Sunday.
Yeah.
It was the week between Christmas and New Year's, so it was a late NFL Sunday, and we took the train up to Wrigleyville from down on Michigan up to Wrigleyville, and it's similar, but it's like the bars are right next to each other in Wrigleyville, and one bar will have a Cleveland Browns flag out, and one bar will have a Dallas Cowboys flag out, and you can just walk by those bars and you can hear the random cheers when their team does something. Actually, a really cool environment.
Wrigleyville actually has an Alabama bar. There's a place there where Alabama fans gather. And my goodness, is it called the Houndstooth?
It is. Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Wrigleyville, I think it's called the Houndstooth. Yeah. No copyright infringement there. So a lot of buzz for 99% of the college football fans in America as we get ready this weekend. My only drawback of the weekend is I got to carve out a little time to go down and watch maybe the best basketball team in the country, Auburn, take on Purdue at 3:30 on Saturday. So it's I'll catch the early game. I'll be watching on my phone from the Legacy Arena, the Clemson-Texas game, and be back home in time for the Tennessee-Ohio State game.
I am shocked how big that ticket is, just based on the fact that, look, I understand a lot of people don't have an opportunity to go to Neville. It is two brands. It's maybe the best team in all of college basketball.
Yeah, it's maybe the best team in the country against Final Four team from last year.
I know, but even if I'm an Auburn or Purdue fan, and maybe this is just where I stack football to basketball, I would much rather be watching college football.
Oh, if I had my magical powers where I could line up the calendar, I would love for this Auburn Purdue game to be 3:30 this afternoon.
No, I get that.
Or 3:30 Sunday afternoon.
But
I'd give up the NFL.
But you are making a choice, though, right?
I am. Yeah. I'm making a choice.
So you would rather see Auburn Purdue than you would rather see.
I'm going to try to thread the needle and see both. But I am choosing to go see Auburn Purdue because, truthfully, I just don't make it to Auburn as much as I do Alabama. I want to go see them in person.
This game sold out in like 2 hours, 16,000 seats.
Yeah, it's a tough ticket.
It's a tough ticket here in Birmingham. And I know a lot of I shouldn't say I know a lot. I know there are people, I've talked to some, who gave this to their kids as an early Christmas gift. They got to open their tickets today or yesterday or maybe tomorrow morning or whatever, as an early Christmas gift. People are fired up about this game. Auburn basketball is the hottest it has ever been in its history, nowhere close. So, this is going to be it's going to be a heck of an environment.
And you've got a chance to not have to drive 4 hours in a car to see your basketball team play. If you're an Auburn fan here in Birmingham, you just drive downtown and watch them play a big opponent instead of driving down to Neville and driving back home. That's a 4-hour round trip, or as we like to call it, 3 hours when Taylor's driving. We're off and rolling. We'll get to some of the ins and outs of this unbelievable college football weekend coming up, big college basketball as well, and NFL, which we saw last night, which we'll jump into after LT tells us about the great folks at the World of Wills. Speaking of last-minute gifts you can get for the kid in your life, World of Wills is a great place to start.
Unique stocking stuffer from our friends at the World of Wills, an event that goes on every single year here in Birmingham. It is coming up the last weekend / first weekend of February, and if you are looking for the unique stocking stuffer, you can get it from our friends, the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wills, January 31st, February 2nd, BJCC. See custom classic cars, hot rods, trucks, motorcycles, and new this year, check out the exotic car exhibit. Plus, don't miss the BMX bike stunt team performing outrageous stunts live each day. And kids, meet your favorite costume characters, race Hot Wheels on the free Hot Wheels drag track. Don't miss Super Show with a one-of-a-kind vehicles from across the country. Get discount tickets today. Stop into O'Reilly Auto Parts. Tell them the next round sent you. You can also get details online right now, worldofwheels.net. That's worldofwheels.net.
Greg Burns just tweeted out, by the way, a big thank you to the nearly 800 new or renewed Yay Alabama members in the last 36 hours. So even if that's everybody in the lowest denomination of just joining up to the lowest level of Yay Alabama, it's 192,000 quick dollars for Alabama's NIL there in 36 hours.
Which is great, which is nice, which you'll take. But that just shows you the challenges of this on that level, right? If you take away the big-time booster that we talked about yesterday, a Jimmy Haslam or the late T. Boone Pickens or a Phil Knight that can stroke, if they want to, a $1, $2, $3 million check. When you're doing it a little bit at a time, $192,000. That's 800 people, $192,000.
That's if everybody was at the lowest level.
Well, okay.
Which I assume they were not, but if everybody was just bottom level.
Say they weren't. Say it's $500,000. I mean, you can burn through $500,000 quick.
And Backway probably got $500,000
quick in the NIL. I mean, that just shows you the challenges of this.
Yeah. So that's from Greg Byrne just now tweeting that out. Before we jump into what we saw last night, the big takeaway from the show yesterday, if you were not with us in overtime, cut 6, Tyler, if you will, cut 6, was former Alabama star, former Atlanta Falcons star, now on both our platform, covercrimson.com, and also over in Atlanta on Sports Talk Radio. It's Mike Johnson, and he had this to say yesterday about what's going on in the college football playoffs in this NIL era with the transfer portal open while the college football playoffs are going on. He had this to say.
I heard today from a really reliable source that there is a team in the college football playoff that is actively paying its players to stay throughout the playoff so that they will have enough people to practice with, and they are in the playoff.
Wow.
Oh.
It blows my mind that that's what we're dealing with, but these kids are being recruited other places. The transfer portal's wide open, and I don't know what the end game actually is.
I went, wow, and Brown went, ugh, right there in that comment.
I did a little wow.
Yeah, everybody wowed it or grunted it.
I am going to guess, very dangerous, that this team would be Arizona State.
You would say Arizona State.
I think it's one of the non-brands. I could be wrong.
I do think you are incorrect.
I thought.
Have you heard?
I thought it was Texas, and he has a guess.
All I would say is I would look at where Mike does a show and where Mike's connected. That's all I would say.
Well, look, I mean, they've done it so many times.
Yep.
And look, it doesn't seem like, I mean, now with the news that we all knew that Carson Beck is not going to play in these playoffs, I mean, I still think Georgia can make noise with Gunnar Stockton. I don't know why. We've really never seen him.
Well, funny you say that, Lance, because I was at the game. I watched it. Brown was sitting next to me. E.G. was sitting next to me. We watched the game, and it was so great and blah, 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 da-da-da. We go down, we do a post-game, the confetti. I had some confetti to some Georgia fan kids, who wanted some confetti. We get in the car and drive home. I remember it as such a great Gunnar Stockton half. Wow, Gunnar Stockton came in. Wow, they'll be fine in the playoffs. I just was making notes this morning. He was 12 of 16 for 71 yards passing.
Yeah, it felt a lot better than that, didn't it?
No, I said it yesterday to Mike. I was like, it was a shaky performance.
12 of 16, 71 yards, a horrible interception.
Yeah, a horrible interception that almost cost him the game. If he gets one block, they lose that game.
It was the fake punt that changed absolutely everything.
And, really the good drive he had was that first drive after he came in, right? And is it the natural thing to do when a quarterback is changed that you probably don't have a ton of film on, if you're the Texas defensive coordinator, is to say, all right, let's go a little base here. Let's see what they're going to do with him before. Right. Yeah, I guess there's one of two ways you could do it. You could be like, hey, brand new quarterback of the game, we are going to light this kid up.
Yeah. Let's
just see how he deals with a 5-man blitz right
and
here.
All of a sudden, if they're draw play or if they're wide receiver screen or if they're shovel pass, then all of a sudden you've been burned by blitzing the house.
Right. I think probably the most natural reaction as a defensive coordinator is I'm going to play a little safe right here. I'm going to see what Mike Bobo decides to do with this kid, and we'll adjust from there. And that was his best drive, was that first drive. After that, when Texas did adjust from there, Stockton didn't do a ton.
Dude, I think they got the best draw based on their circumstances.
Yeah.
Like for them to go on and win, like if they were in Texas' spot and had Clemson, I'd be like, I don't know. And then Arizona State has got a good offense right now with Sam Levitt and obviously Scatterbo, what he's doing. And then Ohio State or Oregon can score a ton of points. But Georgia's going to play the winner of Indiana and Notre Dame. Georgia can grind out a 13-10 win against either one of those teams.
That's a phone booth game,
Yeah, and then, moving forward, I know Penn State's offense decided to show up against Oregon at the Big Ten Championship. That's not really a great offense at all. Even if Penn State survives SMU and then maybe Boise State, that is an offensively, to me, challenged bracket.
Yeah.
And so I think that
Lance he's projecting the offensively challenged region.
So I do think that Georgia, and by that time, this could be, and I continue to go back to this because it's the only time I remember seeing it, Cardale Jones, 2014, first ever college football playoff, was able to get this momentum, and everybody started to believe and started to buy in. If Gunnar Stockton, I guarantee you by the time they take the field in the Sugar Bowl against Indiana or Notre Dame, his teammates will be buying in that he can win the game for them. Whether he can or not, we shall see.
71 yards passing, but they did win that game. The word is out that Carson Beck has not been at either one of the practices, not even with the team in Athens, as they that included yesterday's practice in Athens, according to those that cover the Georgia Bulldogs. He is, according to multiple reports, including Mark Schlabach and Chris Lowe of ESPN, looking at surgery options for his elbow injury, and they're listing him as doubtful for the college football playoffs. He's out of the college football playoffs. So that's Carson Beck, who not practiced, not even with the team, on the sidelines in a sling at yesterday's practice, according to those that cover the Georgia Bulldogs. The show being brought to you today by a couple of great folks. One of them you guys had a chance to spend time with last night, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
When are we going to tell the story?
I mean, do we want to do it now?
We got time right now.
All right, let's go.
So I didn't know what to expect. We show up. It was... How would you describe the exhibition assembly hall that we were in?
So it's on a quail farm. Johnston RV's Christmas party is on a quail farm up in the, I don't even know what municipality we were technically
Close
in.
to Hartselle.
Close to Hartselle, the Falkville exit. So I don't know if I'm in Falkville or not.
Eva,
I don't really know where I am, but there's a quail farm up there.
Yeah.
Pull.
Yeah. And
that's Skeet Shoot, I bet.
Yeah, you don't pull the quail. They just kind of do it on their own.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple buildings, and they had one of those big, like, tents, the
party tents,
really big setup. And it's just a really cool place. Had a fire going in there.
That was the first place I scrambled over because the heat had yet to really kick on. So I scrambled over to the wood burning fire.
Yeah.
Brown went outside, picked up some firewood for us, threw it on the fire.
The fire was going down a little bit. We're not going to let that happen. So I just found some firewood outside stacked up. I grabbed some of that. I assumed it was for that event, right?
We stumble in. The theme was 90s country.
That's right.
Everybody's dressed up as a cowboy except for me and Brown.
That's right.
Did y'all know that you were supposed to dress up?
Nick had given us the option.
This week has been overwhelming for me. With that said,
I don't have a good cowboy hat or a painted shirt.
We walked in and we met Jared. Complete coon ass from the same town as Ed Orgeron.
That's right. He went to the same high school as Ed Orgeron. There's an age difference. Jared's about our age.
Yeah, he's one of their reps, and he sells for Arctic Cat, and I forgot the other RV.
I can't remember. Yeah,
great dude though. Travels all over the country.
Hilarious.
And he was their Simon Cowell judge, so he's done it for a couple of years. This was our first time, but we meet him, and he's like,
so he's the one that's supposed to be mean. Have they met you?
Yeah. I couldn't even compare to this guy.
Yeah, this guy
and he looks me up and down.
To be fair, he knew a lot of the people there because Johnston RV is one of his major clients. Yeah.
But first, I get introduced to him from Nick, and he's like, he looks me up and down. He's like, this is cowboy attire? And just a big smart ass, but great dude. And he can speak coon ass, Cajun, whatever you call it. And he was trying to explain to me and Brown.
I couldn't understand it.
But he would blah, 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 and he'd be like, this back, the first word is actually the back word. This means this. And we were talking about T-Bob.
Yeah.
And he told us what T-Bob
meant.
I
asked him, I was like, T-Bob, because he's a huge LSU fan. He goes, God, I love T-Bob. And we're like, oh, he comes on our show all the time. T-Bob's a good friend of ours. And I said, but I've always wondered, what is the T-Bob? Because that just means little. He's little Bob, Bobby Hebert. He's little Bob.
Little Bob.
T-Bob. I was like, T-Bob ain't little nothing, man.
But he said he went over to, we started talking about World War II. He went to Normandy, him and his girlfriend. He was over there for a month. And I was like, well, could you, based on, the French influence on Cajuns, could you understand or speak French? And he was like, I can understand almost all of it. He said, if I was there for almost a year, I would be able to speak it fluently. Yeah. So it's pretty amazing. But anyway, they had a laser show when people would go up and sing, like
smoke
machines. Smoke machine. But 9 or 10 performances, the worst singers I've ever been around.
Yeah, they're all awful. They know they're bad. They accept it. So we're there to roast them, which is fine. Like they're like they won't. They know what's going to happen.
A couple didn't take it well, though.
Yeah, a couple really didn't like our roast. We didn't get too. I mean, for some of the stuff we've said on this show, it was pretty light.
Oh, this one dude singing. I told Brown because I leaned over and I was like, we're not supposed to get personal, right? Like, we can take shots at their singing. He's like, don't get personal. I was like, first time I've ever seen Roseanne Barr with a mustache.
I was like, that felt personal, Lance.
And it was spot on. So I didn't say that.
And then he had another one for another act that was fantastic. And even our new friend Jared was like, I don't think I'd go there.
Yeah, he even said that.
He was absolutely crushing, but it was a great time. That's a great family. I'll tell you this, Nick's dad, Rodney, opened the show and closed it with Christmas in Dixie.
So he can sing.
He can sing.
Christmas in Dixie, one of the great Christmas songs of all time. And he delivered it perfectly. Perfectly.
And there was one dude that did, who sings Rodeo?
Garth Brooks. It's the Garth Brooks song, The Damned Old Rodeo.
He did a good job with that.
He was the winner. He won with Rodeo.
Did Rodney go Fort Payne, Alabama, or did he replace it with Falkville, Alabama?
Did he say Falkville? Maybe that was the key that we're in Falkville.
Yeah.
I was reading the words on the screen, and I saw the Fort Payne, so I really didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he did change it.
Because they occasionally would do that depending on what time. And then
I'll tell you what it reminded me of, though, that Christmas party. It reminded me of Dick Broadcasting. And I know this was before you. I think it was before you because it was my first 2 years.
Yeah, I never worked until it was already Citadel.
Guy named Alan Dick. He had 13 properties, Greensboro, Knoxville, and Birmingham. And they truly took care of their employees. And, like, they would fly us to Vail to ski. And they would do awards. And they had incentives. And that's what the Johnstons did. It was an award show, basically. It was like the ESPYs meets some of the worst karaoke ever, but in between
the Dundies of the office,
they would give out their MVPs and their super sellers.
That's really cool.
And they gave out gifts to all the kids, and I mean, it was a great family affair. The Johnsons are just some of the best people in the world, and not just saying that, but outside of that, they've got one of the best RV selections out there.
Yeah, as it turns out, they do. Johnston RV Center is also getting ready for the shows in February. That means they got to move out the 2024s and make room for the 2025s. That means great prices below invoice, like the Shasta 16 RE, just $149 a month, lightweight enough to be towed by just about any truck or SUV. The Avenger 29 QBS, room to sleep up to 10, $279 a month. Both those with approved credit. Lifetime warranty from RV Warranty Forever on anything new or qualifying pre-owned. That is when you visit I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, or JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Hey, we are just a few days out from Christmas, which is insane. I guarantee you, as much as we've been telling you to go on and pull the trigger on presents, a lot of you guys haven't done it. Go to birmingham.woodhousespas.com. A lot of guys probably don't want to battle with the Summit traffic. I get that. But all you got to do is go online. They can actually ship. You've still got a couple of days to do this, or they can email you the gift card. Then you can give it to your mom, your girlfriend, your wife, significant other. They can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Right now, 6 for $5. You buy 5 of these services, you get the 6th absolutely free. Very important. Mention the next round. Woodhouse Day Spa voted America's best day spa since 2009. Order that special person gift online 24/7. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
All right. Last night in the National Football League, Bo Nix wasn't bad. He was 263, 2 touchdowns. It's just that the way they play offense, they've got to have a great defensive performance, and they did not get that last night. In fact, the defense made some costly penalties that kept drives going for the Chargers. Chargers win at 34-27. Herbert was good.
Little team
I'm looking at Herbert and saying Hebert. Herbert was good. Not a lot more passing yards, but he was clutch in the comeback to take the lead and everything. First off, a rule I knew it existed. I didn't know how it really worked. The fair catch free kick rule. Jim Harbaugh said, I've been wanting to do this forever. It's my favorite rule in the NFL.
I've never seen it in a game.
I've seen it one time. Who is the kicker that is a color analyst now? Because he was playing for the Arizona Cardinals.
Jay Feely?
Jay Feely.
Well, they said it hasn't happened in 48 years in the NFL.
He hadn't had a made one.
He didn't make it.
Okay, gotcha.
But watching Rams Cardinals probably 10 years ago, Feely had an opportunity to do it, and it was a bomb. It was like a 70-yarder.
Something. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the only time I've ever seen it. Now, when we were doing the Johnston RV Christmas party, we didn't get in the car until the fourth quarter, and we made the mistake of putting the game on because I had the Broncos last night, as I think you did.
It's a bad fourth quarter.
It was. I mean,
they couldn't tackle. I mean, I was just listening to it, and I was like, damn, they can't make a tackle.
Yeah, the worst part of the game was they were up I think it was 24-13 at the time, 24 something like 20. Yeah, it was something. They were up double digits, and it would have been a fourth down. And they had Herbert was sliding short of the first down. It was going to be 4th and 8, 9. And the guy comes in as he's sliding, he throws a forearm, and he gets a personal foul penalty, leads to a touchdown. It was never the same after that.
Yeah, and then
the dumbest penalty.
On the radio, it seemed like on a 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 10, Herbert scampered for 16, got the first down. They go down, score the touchdown.
That was the backbreaker.
Yeah, I mean, they just completely dominated the fourth quarter, and that's such a tough loss for the Broncos because when you're in, now the Broncos have got to go to Cincinnati, which with that offense, who knows, and Bo Nix going on the road, and then they close out with the Chiefs, who might be playing for the number 1 seed.
Yeah, or it could be resting, which you're hoping for.
You don't know. Yeah.
They still have a likely chance. A lot of things will have to happen for the Broncos not to make it, but that helped the Chargers virtually lock it up, but the Broncos could have locked it up last night. Well, both of those teams will be in the playoffs, and it seems like everyone is saying they'll both be in the playoffs. They'll both go on the road and lose to really good
Buffalo or Kansas City.
AFC teams. Yeah. So
the way I understand that rule, by the way, you can do it at any time in the game. A lot of people think it's only an end of the half rule. You could do it after any fair catch. It really only makes sense, though, at the end of a game or end of a half.
Why would you want to give up a chance for a short field driving for a touchdown?
Yeah.
So that was last night with the NFL. We got 2 games on Saturday coming up as well. The teams that play on Christmas Day are playing Saturday against each other. They'll flip opponents and play again on Christmas Day, coming up with some NFL scheduling. So you will have college football playoffs on one team, NFL playoffs on another TV as you enjoy your Saturday of football happening. We'll talk to Dan Wetzel about those playoff games coming up. Show being brought to you by great folks like The Lock, from our friends at Hemphill, Lance'sLock.com.
Yeah, Broncos cost us a winning night. Ended up 5-5 with a push last night. Did hit bowl game with Sam Houston State. We are crushing the NBA, but we'll have everything available today. We've got an 11 o'clock kick. It is up and ready to roll right now. Ohio and Jack State. That is our first bowl game this morning. We've got 2 bowl games. We've got the college football playoff. We've got a total on that tonight, Indiana and Notre Dame. So jump on board, Lance'sLock.com. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you, 205-229-2090 or HemphillServices.com.
And as you continue your Christmas shopping, make sure to swing by Academy Sports and Outdoors, including the brand new location, 4610 U.S. Highway 280. All the trusted brands you love, like Nike, Stanley, Brooks, Carhartt, Blackstone, Yeti, Titleist, Shimano, and more. It is Academy Sports and Outdoors. Academy Sports and Outdoors. They've got everything you love, all at low, everyday prices. We will talk about the college football playoffs with our buddy Dan Wetzel, national columnist, Yahoo Sports, next.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wills, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC. See custom classic cars, hot rods, trucks, and motorcycles. And new this year, check out the exotic car exhibit. Plus, do not miss the BMX bike stunt team performing outrageous live stunts each day. And kids, meet your favorite costume characters and race Hot Wheels on the free Hot Wheels drag track. Don't miss the Super Show with one-of-a-kind vehicles from across the country. Get your discount tickets today at O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Get details at worldofwills.net.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today, in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the fourth quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Xavier Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to DanielMooreArt.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban. Order now at DanielMooreArt.com.
Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? That's a bold question, but it's got that irresistible taste to back it up. Well, one thing's for sure, when you've got an irresistible tasty match like zero sugar and 0 calories, something sensational is bound to happen. It's too bad you can't taste with your ears, because this Coke Zero Sugar tastes amazing. You know, it's hard to put into words, and that's my job. You'll have to take a taste for yourself. Coke Zero Sugar, best Coke ever? Try and decide. It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wills, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC. See custom classic cars, hot rods, trucks, and motorcycles. And new this year, check out the exotic car exhibit. Plus, do not miss the BMX bike stunt team performing outrageous live stunts each day. And kids, meet your favorite costume characters and race Hot Wheels on the free Hot Wheels drag track. Don't miss the Super Show with one-of-a-kind vehicles from across the country. Get your discount tickets today at O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Get details at worldofwills.net.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Back with you on The Next Round. Let's get right to Dan Wetzel, national columnist, Yahoo Sports. We had athletic director Greg Byrne on yesterday from Alabama. I'm watching Wetzel and Pat Forty, Ross Dellinger do your podcast. Y'all had a reaction to Greg's tweet a couple of nights ago, Dan. For our audience, from a national perspective, when you saw the Alabama AD asking the fans to fight back in the NIL, how did you guys read into that? How did that go over nationally, in your opinion?
I thought it was smart. I mean, that's the job of the AD these days. If you don't sit on your hands, if you see a deficiency in some competitive way, and if you can rally some advantage or defense or whatever, you rally some money and you keep a player that can help you win a game next year. I thought that was I thought that's leadership. You know, Greg does a good job, and one of the reasons he does more than a good job, but one of the reasons is because he's willing to put himself out there. I'm sure there was probably some hesitation of saying, all right, now I'm going to be the story, or, you know, look, we also chuckle, you know, poor old Alabama, little old Alabama, you know, just try maybe get a Groupon or get, clip some coupons from the Tuscaloosa News on Sunday. But at the same time, smart. Like this is an all hands on deck competitive situation. And so maybe in the past where an AD's job was to quietly, grease some booster on a golf course and then unveil some plans for a renovated locker room. Now it's like, hey man, send us $5, send us $50, whatever you got left after buying Christmas presents and the Christmas dinner. We need it. And so he sounded the alarm. So I thought it was very smart. And I thought it was just indicative of the way this sport is going. The fact that Lane Kiffin was trolling him and other stuff like that certainly was entertaining, but hey, that's part of the deal.
Hey, we know it's a necessary evil. And we had Greg on the show yesterday and we asked him the question. Our friend Clay Travis, who you know well, sent this out a couple of nights ago after the statement was released from Greg. And I thought it was interesting because it is a weird world that we're in. And his analogy was, can you imagine going to an NFL game and they start passing around a hat for you to contribute to the player's salary? Like, really, where does this thing stop? I mean, it is getting outrageous when ticket prices are going up and concessions are going up and parking's going up and everything's going up, but these players want more and more and more, and you can't blame them because there's no guardrails.
No, it would be, I don't follow baseball enough. What was it? Soto just got 700 million.
Yeah. It's a pretty good day.
5,000 a minute. Yeah. By the way, Dan.
Was that it? Oh,
yeah.
Well, it's my appearance fee. You guys do know. For all appearances. It's totally bizarre. I mean, and they do it. They just do it in personal seat license. It was like a white collar theft, and now we got like a stick-em joint. We got the stick-up boy that's sitting there, bang, hey, what? Give me your money, give me your wallet, instead of a bank pilfering it out by raising their fees. It's a little insulting for the fans. I get it. I did a story a couple weeks ago on Mississippi State fans that love their old interlocking MSU logo that they used to have when Jackie Sherrill was coaching, and maybe you remember it, maybe you don't. Now they have they use State across their helmet, and then there's this banner one. They're really into the logo at Mississippi State, and it's kind of a small group, but they made the point they want this interlocking MSU to come back. This is their thing, and they made the point, you're asking us to pay for the quarterback, maybe we ought to have a say in the logo. And it's like, yeah, you can brush us off as cranks, and if you call, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan and you call up the Cowboys and say, I want to get rid of that big star, let's try something different, they're going to hang up on you. But if you're contributing to paying the players, maybe you're kind of a part owner. So it's tough for the fans. I think the market will go up to a point and then it will settle. And I don't know where that settle is. But one thing I know about college sports is everybody panics and goes bananas over everything. The sky is always falling. And then usually at the end, the product works out. There is a finite amount of money at every school, and that is going to settle down at some point. You're going to see other cuts. I thought I read the recap of your interview on AL.com. I didn't see Greg talk on that, but I did read it. And one of the things he's talking about, like, we got to do some travel cutbacks, and maybe there's staffing cutbacks and different things at the university to try to responsibly shepherd the money, because what we're had for 60, 70 years of however major this has been really a major pursuit is money went into coaching salaries, administrations, offices, and facilities. And now you got to pay the players. And so there's going to have to be a reworking of the priorities of the money that does come in. I've long joked, they're going to build a new place now, but if you go to the New England Patriots, they have a bubble and one locker room and a little weight room off their locker room. That's their facilities. They managed to play pretty good football all those years with that. You go to like Bowling Green and they got better facilities than the New England Patriots. And you say, what is going on here? Well, that's where they spent the money. So not good if you're a college town contractor that used to build that stuff. So I think it's part of kind of the reworking. You're going to get this revenue sharing that I think is going to help a great deal. And now an Alabama can take, I'm not sure what the number is, but it might be up to $20 million that they're getting from CBS, ESPN and their tickets and all of that, and can distribute that to their players. So that takes a little heat off of the fans having to do it all, but I get the fan frustration. It's like, what are we doing? But I just wonder, like, let's say, look, a guy can give $100 a year or whatever and be happy part of the team. But if they come to you, or the billionaire can give, but if you got that middle guy, it's all right, I'm going to kick in 20 grand, right? I do pretty well. I'm going to throw 20 grand in. We're going to help get this linebacker. And that linebacker doesn't do anything and then transfers. And then you come back and say, I need 20 grand again. You're like, man, I'm not Larry Ellison. I'm not Elon Musk. I don't got that. Like, at what point do you cut back? So I think the market will soften on some of this at some point, but I don't know where that is.
Dan Wetzel is with us, national columnist, Yahoo Sports, also an author. Dan gave AL.com the click, not us, so we're going to call it a wash on the appearance fee.
Yeah.
I believe that's my ruling there.
Yeah. By the way, MSU.
I do watch. I just, it's quality product over there at AL.com.
Hey, by the way,
do you get any pop-ups when you pulled AL.com?
Yeah, they're pretty big on the pop-ups.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, the MSU boosters who are paying the money, they're right. That is a better logo than that banner logo.
Don't get them started. Those guys will call your show and they're going to try to get on your show now. Believe me, that is
it's a crappy logo.
I love those guys, but I was like, wow, you are really fired up about this logo.
Yeah, that crappy.
They're like, we got 2 wins. We got nothing to talk about. They're great over there.
That M and a banner, not a good logo.
Yeah, I agree. At Dan Wetzel on social media, there you can find the link to purchase his books. It might be too late, but maybe it's never too late to get a young reader a book. Epic Athlete Series, good for kids to study some of the great athletes of our generation. Dan has written those for kids, so it's a great Christmas gift if it's not too late to get those to your house by Christmas. You've done a lot of writing about how addicted the college football old school leaders are to bowl games, and now we've got this college football playoff where starting tonight we will see on-campus games basically the week of Christmas. How important for the future of this playoff is it that these stadiums are filled, or at least the on-campus portion of this playoff, that these stadiums are filled and it feels like an actual home college football game?
Well, it's important, no question. If this was, I would look really stupid if there was 33,000 in Notre Dame Stadium tonight and people go. I've been saying for years now, everyone is fired up for this. Who wouldn't want this? They'll be full. I don't know. Penn State will be close. And I've thought about this for a long time and written about this for literally too much of my life. The playoff is my MSU banner, so that's why I think I got along with the kindred spirits on some obsessed about something. Home playoff games are my thing. Penn State's like the hardest. I always was like, that's going to be the toughest one to fill because it's massive. It's the second biggest stadium in the country behind Michigan, and it's in the middle of nowhere. Michigan is basically in Metro Detroit. It's right next to a big, massive airport. You can get 100,000 in there just driving over. You don't need, and there's not enough hotels. It's graduation weekend at Penn State this weekend, so there's even less hotels. So to get 102,000 in there, if they do that, is pretty wild. But I think this is going to be great. I think the atmosphere tonight at Notre Dame is going to be fantastic. We've all been to bowl games. They can be great if you have that 50-50 split and it's the championship game. But I've also seen them where you don't have that. And it just talk about the burden on the fans, right? I think about tonight, there's going to be some fans in that stand at Notre Dame they live in the area. They live in Mishawaka, and they go to Notre Dame games. That's their thing, but they aren't wealthy. They're just, middle class, and this is what they've done for 30 years, and this is their team. And they can't afford to fly to Phoenix and fly to Miami and do all that for these big games, let alone week after week after week. And they get to see a playoff game. And this is the biggest game on, even on Notre Dame's campus, is one of the biggest games that have ever been played. So I think that part is going to be great. I think the atmosphere is going to be great. Obviously, I think it's cool that we're starting with Notre Dame, which is one of the most picturesque campuses, the Golden Dome, touchdown Jesus, and there, some flurries in the air. I think it'll be terrific. So I think it's going to play out really nice. But I think this is a better deal for fans. And I would love to see it happen in the quarterfinal round as well. And also, just one more, I know how many people in Alabama make money off of home football games, what a boost it is to the Alabama economy, and not just the Marriotts and the Hyatts and stuff, but like the Airbnbs, people. I've stayed in Tuscaloosa at a woman's house. She rents out her house, for all the games, or the bars, the restaurants, the grocery stores, all the different stuff. Think about all that money coming in, an extra boost to Tuscaloosa and even into Birmingham when the Tide eventually host a game. So I think overall it's a great thing, but it better be pretty good this weekend, and I think it will be.
I never thought we'd get to the 12-team playoff, and you'd have to use the phrase, when the Tide eventually hosts a playoff game.
It did sound weird, didn't it?
Yeah. There was, when this was unveiled, I was like, how does Alabama not make one of these?
I think, just on a side, I think that's one thing. Everyone's talking about how to change the playoff, right? Like, and I get there's some deadlines, but can we let this cook? Can we just let's see what happens a couple years?
Yeah.
Because there are things happening that you're not expecting, right? I would have thought, hey, Alabama's in this thing every year. Or there's no way, not that I like this, I don't like the seeding thing, but there's no way Boise State could ever end up a 3 seed, right?
That's right.
And then everyone's saying, well, they shouldn't be there. Who knows? Maybe they win the game.
That's right.
I don't know, right? We shouldn't have this. We shouldn't have that. Let's see what happens. A lot of stuff happened along the way. You didn't know how it would fully impact the regular season. I thought it was great. Different things like let's take a deep breath. And to their credit, they have done that so far. But let's not overreact to one or two things and go, oh, we can't do that. We can't do this. Let's see how it plays out. But the Tide will get there. It's always darkest before dawn.
He almost said, I promise you, but he backed off quickly.
Greg Burns, it's Greg Burns' job. Don't put my that's not mine.
Hey, there are a lot of great storylines in these 4 games this weekend. But let's go to Columbus tomorrow night. First of all, I think Ohio State is going to win. But Ryan Day is 1-3 in the college football playoffs. He's 3-6 all time versus top 5s. He's obviously lost 4 straight to Michigan, and he hasn't won a national championship. There is a buzz out there. If he was to lose tomorrow night to Tennessee, he would lose his job. I think the 3 of us think that's kind of crazy. We don't think it's believable, but we have talked to respectable people that we've interviewed that have said out loud on this show they have heard behind the scenes from credible people his job might be on the line if he loses tomorrow night. Where are you on this?
Well, he's got one positive going for him, and that's Michigan ain't in this thing. So at least, just those guys are sitting at home. So at least he doesn't have to stare at that down the line at some point. That seems to be his problem. I don't know that he gets fired. I think it just becomes untenable. I think at some point you're just like, I just need to take a year off. And he's an excellent football coach, right? As you alluded with that record. But I am like, if Tennessee can force a 3 and out early, like the first drive, they'll probably start booing in there. Like there is no patience for this. They have the most talented roster. They spent 20-something million on their roster. They got all these, they're picking up, they grabbed Caleb Downs just because they could, right? They have got everything they need. I remember talking about this in the preseason. Urban Meyer and Jim Tressel did no favors. They're like, this is the most talented roster we've ever had at Ohio State. Like, oh my goodness. Like, and Ryan Day does it to himself too. He talks in the media like we should never lose here. Winning it all, beating Michigan. I mean, he literally said, this is, I think, crushes him because it's actually disrespectful. We should never lose to Michigan and we will never lose again to Michigan. It's not that easy. You're going to lose to Michigan sometimes. You shouldn't say that if you're playing Toledo, let alone Michigan. And I think he's lost some focus when it comes to that rivalry that is seeped into the entire program. I never saw Nick Saban stand around and say we should never lose to Auburn. I saw him win and go, it's really hard to beat Auburn. This is a great victory for us, right? Which it is. Even if Auburn's down, it is. And vice versa. It's a celebration of how hard it is to beat your rival, not these people don't exist to us. We don't say their name and all that. That is, I think, really rocked the whole program. And I'm dying to see tonight whether they can move past it or it's still there. How will Chip Kelly call this game tonight, the offensive coordinator, after calling one of the worst offensive football games I have ever seen against Michigan? I mean, Michigan has 2 first-round defensive interior defensive linemen, including Mason Graham, who might go like third or fourth. And he decided to run it at Mason Graham instead of going after the wideouts where he's got all these fans. So this team could do gangbusters. I could see them winning the national championship. I could see Tennessee beating them. I could see Tennessee winning the national championship besides also, especially if Nico gets hot, talented player. Like, does he make that leap after a couple weeks of practice? So that's another subject. But this game is so fascinating to me because Ryan Day could win the national championship in the next month, or he could be either fired or have to quit from Ohio State by like Sunday morning.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
It is nuts. You're right.
That's crazy.
At Dan Wetzel on social media. Read him at Yahoo, the national sports columnist for Yahoo. Also, Ross Dellinger, Pat Forty, do a very entertaining College Football Inquirer podcast. Our show has actually been featured on that podcast, which we always appreciate.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
We only occasionally mention AL.com. So we'll throw some plugs in for you.
Also, Epic Athletes, the series of books he's written about some of the great athletes of our generation that your kids can read and enjoy and learn more about some of the stars that participate in the sports we love. Dan, thank you very much. Have a great Christmas. Enjoy the playoffs.
You too. Merry Christmas, guys.
All right, buddy.
Dan.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Dan Wetzel with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Hey, a reminder, today is a game day. It is a game day. Tackle game day with a great taste of Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
And our friends at Rodney Scott Barbecue. If you want a little barbecue to go with your college football bowl games today, got Jack State and the Cure Bowl first.
That's right, coming up at noon.
Yep. Great place to just go hang out, have lunch or dinner. 2 locations locally. There's one in Trustful, one in Homewood. Also, you can order those spatchcock turkeys online right now, RodneyScottsBBQ.com. Spatchcock turkeys, pit cooked, smoked over the hot coals for hours. At Rodney Scott's, they serve James Beard award-winning barbecue. Support local this holiday season. Rodney Scott's Barbecue, locally owned and operated. Order one of those spatchcock turkeys online. The homemade southern sides and desserts, or lunch or dinner. Gift cards available as well. Go to RodneyScottsBBQ.com.
If you're looking for that last-minute Christmas gift to give or to ask for, I'm going to give you a little help here. The Golfus has it. The Golfus, always dry, always 70 degrees, never any wind or weather. It's Birmingham's best indoor golf simulators that you'll find. Right now, open Highway 31 in Vestavia, new location coming to Highway 280, and also Trussville very, very soon. I mentioned a Christmas gift. You can get a gift, digital gift card for that golfer in your life, or just ask for this. Shows up in the email Christmas Day if you still want to make it a surprise. You can see all of that, everything about the Golfus and how you can get out of the office and into the Golfus by going to thegolfus.com. thegolfus.com.
By the way, Bryant Vincent, friend of the show, turns down, according to reports, the Jacksonville State head coaching job. Jack State plays today. He's going to remain at Louisiana Monroe. Thoughts on that? Quickly?
Well, I would say this. Jacksonville State, when you look at the facilities, you look at what Rich Rodriguez was able to do this year, was pretty incredible. It seems like a better job. But I would ask Brown, who would know more on this, are they going to lose some of their NIL money now that they've lost Rich Rod?
I think yes is the answer to that. Can they replace it? I don't know is the answer to that.
Yeah, and
it'll be hard.
In my head, Louisiana Monroe's facilities I don't think are very good.
And Jack State's are brand new.
But Bryant Vincent is a loyal guy, and they gave him an opportunity, and, he had a pretty good season there.
Whether he actually turned it down or was offered the job or not, I don't know. He obviously used the opening as leverage to get a new deal, and that's what coaches do, and it's smart of Bryant Vincent. I'm happy he was able to do that. As I mentioned, it's not just a stadium. Jacksonville State has just built a brand-new football facility that's better than most anything that's not SEC or Big Ten. I mean, they have Greg Sykes, the athletic director, has done a great job of upgrading there. And I would just ask you, I don't know who's going to get the Jack State job. When's the last time you can remember them being bad, though?
They're always good.
That helps, right? When you're a coach, you look and you're like, well, there's a reason they're always good.
I bring it up because Brett McMurphy believes the guy who is the interim coach today, Rod Smith, the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, should get the job. That's why Brett tweets today, go ahead and promote this guy. Keep going what you had going with Rich Rod. I don't know if Rod would have the ends with the West Virginia booster, maybe to keep a little money coming from West Virginia, but maybe he could keep the winning and the offense rolling.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, that is what they did when Bill Clark left to take the UAB job. John Gross was his offensive coordinator. They promoted John Gross, and you guys saw how that worked out. They ended up playing for the national championship. So, there is that school of thought. Like, you've got a system that is working, and the coach didn't leave because he got fired. The coach left because he took the West Virginia job.
That's right.
So why not keep that system and try to keep some cohesion in recruiting and on your roster. We'll see.
Let's talk a little bit about Indiana Notre Dame tonight, and we've got Todd Fuhrman coming up at the top of the hour. Before we talk Indiana Notre Dame tonight, our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing, Greg from Pell City, would like to remind you that as we move to 2025, it's time now to call him for a free no-cost roof inspection. When's the last time you had that roof inspected? He'll do it for absolutely free with no obligation. He is the most trusted name in Central Alabama when it comes to roofing. You know him as Greg from Pell City. 205-542-3531, or look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City there. He and his wife Andrea own the company. It's been locally owned for over 20 years. He's got sons and son-in-laws that are on the crews that will come out and take care of your roof. Storm repairs, roof replacements, he does it all, and it starts with a free no-cost roof inspection. 205-542-3531. Greg from Pell City. Also our friends at Odie's.
Odie's Tavern, 2 great locations. Great place to just knock off work, getting ready for the holidays. You got family and friends in town. Go sit out there, enjoy the college football playoffs, the bowl games, and the great food from Rodney Davis, award-winning wings, great burgers, delicious sandwiches like the Diablo sandwich. Chili this time of year is absolutely perfect. Ice-cold beer buckets full of Bud Light and those big styrofoam cup, Odie's famous cocktails. You're going to love it. Get in, see Will Haver. 2 locations, the original in Crestline, newest location in Edgewood.
Chili's good around here today, high 47. It'd be good in South Bend tonight, where you've already seen pictures of snow on campus as the day turns into morning and soon to afternoon and then soon to game night. Curt Cignetti is the head coach at Indiana and going to South Bend up the interstate to play in-state rival South Bend and Notre Dame. He says he has a wish from the forecasters for tonight's contest.
I guess with the potential for snow on Friday in South Bend, I guess how do you approach preparing your team for that and also kind of managing that during the game?
I hope it snows 1.5 feet. We have a Canadian quarterback. Did you see him throw the ball against Purdue? I mean, this guy grew up like in the frigid north. He looked pretty good to me that night, so I don't think it's going to bother him very much. And so much revolves around that guy, right? Everybody else will find a way to stay warm, but it's not a concern. It's going to be cold. It's going to be windy. There could be snow on the ground. Both teams have to play on it. We've been practicing outside in the cold for a long time, and we played in it against Purdue. When we started the game, there was snow on the turf. It was cold. It was windy, so we've been through it.
I mean, wind chill in the teens, but do keep in mind, Rourke's from Canada, Riley Leonard's from L.A., Lower Alabama.
Yeah. But Riley Leonard playing at Duke, last year playing at Notre Dame. I said this, Riley Leonard, better overall quarterback. Curtis Rourke, more experienced. We talked about this earlier this week. I remember seeing him play on sheets of ice in the MAC on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays nights. Look, man, I cannot wait for this game. The Indiana State Championship, they've only played once since 1958. That was in 1991. Ironically, the last time Indiana won a postseason game. 30 first-year transfers for Curt Cignetti, including Curtis Rourke.
Is he 100%?
I think he is 100% now. From what I'm hearing, he's 100%. These 2 campuses are only 200 miles apart. Indiana is playing with house money. Over the last 3 seasons, 21, 22, and 23, 9 total wins. They're 11-1 this year. They've had an incredible season. Whether they get beat by 35 tonight or lose in overtime, it's still going to be a great season. But if they were to win this game, Marcus Freeman just getting that contract extension, Notre Dame fans are going to be like, what the hell just happened?
This was the one game. I shouldn't say the one game because I don't think Tennessee and Ohio State is that big of a deal. But this is the one game where no matter what the weather was, it wasn't going to make an impact. What are these campuses, 2 hours apart? I mean, how far is it from Bloomington to South Bend?
200 miles. It's almost 3, a little over 3 hours.
Yeah, a little over 3 hours. So it would be like a Montgomery team going to play in Huntsville. Would we really make a big deal about that?
Weather-wise.
No. Yeah, weather-wise. We wouldn't make a big deal about that. So whatever the weather was in this game, both these teams live in that climate, right?
No, I get that, but I guess typically you don't see it because we see games through November.
Right, but it's going to affect both teams equally.
It is, but I go back to where the guys are from, what they grew up with, how often have they played in elements like this. Does Riley Leonard like throwing a football? when his hands are freezing cold and wet, by the way. It'll be cold and wet because you've got snow showers and snow. So that snow melts as you're playing on it, and the ball gets wet. Your hands get wet and cold. The wind chill's going to be in the teens. It's not a Southern football.
Here's what concerns me for Indiana, and somebody brought it up earlier this week. It might have been Klatt. But really, when you look at a team that led the nation, nation's best scoring margin, beating teams by an average of 28.7 points per game, the two borderline elite defenses they saw this year, Michigan and Ohio State, they couldn't move the football.
Yeah, they averaged 1.3 points a possession.
And now you're going against Al Golden's defense, and I think along with, Texas, Ohio State, Notre Dame's right there, one of the best defenses in this field. So I think it is going to be tough sledding for a team that averaged over 43 points per game, second nationally. On the other side, Notre Dame, really their strength, along with the defense, is forcing turnovers. They're tied for first in the FBS with 28 turnovers. With bad conditions, typically that leads to a turnover or two.
Yeah, and plays to the defense usually. We'll talk to Todd Fuhrman about all the games as LT tells us about Inverness Country Club, a great, unique gift for 2025 for you and your family. I'll remind you that Indiana's also going against history. I think I'm right about this. I think they're 0-70 all-time versus the top 5.
That sounds right.
That's a bad number.
Yeah.
Now, let's. With that said, the one caveat is this is a different Indiana team.
It is a different Indiana team, but it's the same history timeline.
I get it.
It's a flat circle.
And as much as I love the job Cignetti's done, I don't know if they recapture this. I don't know if Indiana's ever in a 12-team playoff again.
I don't know if they are either. Inverness Country Club can get you, though, now that Indiana's part of the country club, they can get you a membership as well in Inverness.
Yeah, the gift of membership, the social membership, the golf membership. This is a win-win. For the ladies listening out there, your husband loves to play golf. You can get this membership. You can enjoy the social side of it, including that resort-style pool, dinner with friends at the country club, that great bar, also childcare. Massive plus. You and your wife want a day of golf or tennis. Guess what? You can drop the kid, go have yourself a day on the court or course. Maybe you work from home. What about working from the club while they watch your kid? Whatever your interests are, you can find it at Inverness. They even have a vineyard club. Maybe you relocated to retired. Inverness, great place to network. Take a tour of this unbelievable club today. Call Erin. Tell her the next round sent you. 205-991-8608. That's 205-991-8608 or online, iccalabama.com.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there, on the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wills, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC. See custom classic cars, hot rods, trucks, and motorcycles. And new this year, check out the exotic car exhibit. Plus, do not miss the BMX bike stunt team performing outrageous live stunts each day. And kids, meet your favorite costume characters and race Hot Wheels on the free Hot Wheels drag track. Don't miss the Super Show with one-of-a-kind vehicles from across the country. Get your discount tickets today at O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Get details at worldofwills.net. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? That's a bold question, but it's got that irresistible taste to back it up. Well, one thing's for sure, when you've got an irresistible tasty match like zero sugar and 0 calories, something sensational is bound to happen. It's too bad you can't taste with your ears because this Coke Zero Sugar tastes amazing. You know, it's hard to put into words, and that's my job. You'll have to take a taste for yourself. Coke Zero Sugar, best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
College football playoff time, Saturday NFL football, big Auburn-Purdue basketball game here in town tomorrow. Auburn maybe with Johni Broome, maybe without Johni Broome. Let's talk to Todd Fuhrman about all that, brought to you by our friends at Coca-Cola.
Yeah, it is game day, and I start the game day with this question. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide. I am the only one that knows where Todd Fuhrman is joining us from.
Let me guess. Can I guess?
Yeah,
you want to guess first?
Where do you think Todd Fuhrman is, Lance?
I will say he is upstate Massachusetts.
Upstate Massachusetts, okay.
I personally believe that Todd Fuhrman, he's too classy to go to Reno, which is poor man's Vegas. I say he's in South Bend, Indiana.
How did you know that?
You know, Dunaway, you are close, but not quite there. I am 2 hours west of South Bend. Touchdown in Chicago on the lovely Red Eye, and we will be making the pilgrimage to the Notre Dame game in just a little bit as we await the arrival of one final member of our travel party.
Why did you know he was in South Bend? That is the most random place for Fuhrman to be.
Fuhrman, what I think Brown is amazed about is that you and I are friends off air. That we've developed a nice friendship. We exchange texts and conversations year round. It's amazing that you think that.
So is that how you knew that?
Yeah, we talked about how big of a game this was that you wanted to go to.
All right, Fuhrman and Dunaway text. That's nice to know. Fuhrman, how are you in O'Hare, baby? Everything good?
I am good, boys. I actually decided, you know what, because one of our buddies' flights was delayed, that we would take a short trip to one of the local casinos here, walk around, sit in the book for a little while. But let me tell you, gentlemen, 22 degrees, a hell of a lot colder than what you think it's going to be, even for someone that grew up in this wintry mix. I'm not sure I'm cut out to be sitting outside for tonight's game and then follow it up tomorrow with game time temperatures expected to be even lower between the Buckeyes and Volunteers.
Are you going to that one too?
Yep, we are going to trek from South Bend, a lovely Fort Wayne, for an overnight pit stop. We'll head to Columbus for the game tomorrow night, and then maybe even look to try and hit the trifecta, depending on how big a sense of urgency we feel for maybe some Browns-Bengals on Sunday when we spend the day in Cincinnati.
You're going to be frozen by the end of this.
So, Fuhrman, not that it matters, but like I have adopted Indiana in this playoff. I don't know if they win tonight. I'm staying away from the side. I do like the total on this game. To me, it's a tough side. I know Indiana really has struggled with elite defenses in both Michigan and Ohio State. Notre Dame's got one of those elite defenses, but I think Indiana, their defense can limit what Notre Dame does. Where are you on this game? Do you like a side and or a total?
I did like a side a little bit earlier when you had an opportunity to grab the Hoosiers at 7.5 or better. The problem is now when you're looking at a number of 7 and even 6.5 painted across the board, it's a little bit tougher to make a case for the underdog. What I think is fascinating about this matchup is that we have all sorts of questions about Indiana and their strength of schedule. We can use the second half against Michigan or the full 60 minutes against Ohio State as a litmus test to try and prove that. But you dig into what Notre Dame has played since they were able to right the ship after the early season loss to NIU, and their resume has plenty of holes in it as well. I think the big question in this matchup will be how Indiana elects to defend Notre Dame. Do they play 8 in the box and go, we're going to go down? It's going to be because Riley Leonard is beating us with his arm more so than his legs. I do think Indiana does have a path to success offensively, though, with a veteran quarterback and some underrated playmakers. Would not be shocked at all if the Hoosiers are hanging around with a chance to win this outright. Unless you can grab 7.5 and the number comes back, would be hard-pressed to tell anybody to grab 7 or shorter.
Hey, Riley Leonard's been beat up a little bit. Rourke's questionable on whether he's 100% or not. How close to 100 is Rourke, and where's Riley Leonard's health? Any big injuries we should know about in this one?
That's the big question. Some buzz about Riley Leonard and if he'll be close to 100%. I expect Curtis Rourke to be what we've seen from him. We know he's lost mobility, but that was nothing new coming into the year on that surgically repaired knee. I think the hand injury with plenty of time to heal. The other injury we're going to want to keep tabs on will be, of course, Notre Dame's running back Jeremiah Love. He left the game against USC in the regular season finale. Earlier in practice this week, he was seen with a big, bulky knee brace. And if you're not used to playing with that kind of thing, especially in cold weather, being able to cut on a dime and have that straight line speed, I think that'll be the interesting injury to follow if it's a little bit more Jadarian Price than Notre Dame would like.
Todd Fuhrman, bettheboardpodcast.com, bettheboardpodcast.com. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Penn State tomorrow is playing host to SMU. That game is at 8.5 right now. This is one of those spots where James Franklin is normally bad, Fuhrman. Why might that be different this time?
Yeah, a little bit different, though, when the team on the opposing sidelines isn't wearing scarlet, gray, or maize and blue with a pony logo instead. So you have to take some of that with a grain of salt, but you're exactly right. We've seen big game James fall all over himself when Penn State had previous expectations, and we wonder if this will be one where they can break tendency. What's interesting about this dynamic, you look at the average temperature for SMU games this season, balmy 72 degrees. Game time temperature is going to be about 50 degrees lighter in that particular department. For Penn State, we saw their offense look significantly healthier, even in defeat against Oregon in the Big Ten Championship. Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton look to be the dynamic 1-2 combination. But what's interesting about SMU, when you dig into some of their underlying numbers, this is a team that's been very good against the run, a little bit vulnerable against the pass. Penn State doesn't have the kind of perimeter weapons that could put SMU in conflict. This number, the definition of no man's land, just south of 10, north of 7, and we haven't seen a whole lot in the way of movement. I actually think if the weather forecast clears up a bit and we're not dealing with wind, this game has the potential to get a little bit loose and could see making a case to go over the total, especially if the number tick down a touch.
We've talked about this week, that last team of 68, and the last couple of teams at large that get in, sometimes they make noise. SMU was that last team in this field. Do you get a feeling they're playing with house money? They're loose. I know the conditions could be bad, but if Kevin Jennings doesn't turn the football over, could we have a live dog situation? And that would obviously be bad for James Franklin.
There's no doubt that SMU has absolutely nothing to lose, and I think it's a far cry, a full 180 from what we saw in the ACC title game, where I know the players and coaching staff won't admit it, but anyone who watched that first half against Clemson, SMU looked like they were playing tight, afraid to make the big mistake. They somehow were able to get their legs under them and turn a 17-point deficit heading into the fourth quarter into a narrow field goal loss, and it couldn't have come much sooner for SMU, because if they lose that game by 17 to 21 points, I think they find themselves on the outside of this playoff picture looking in. So a little bit of a Cinderella story, relatively speaking, as they make the transition, from a G5 into one of the Power 4 leagues. And to your point, Kevin Jennings becomes the X factor. I would like SMU a little bit more if they were healthier at the receiver position, but I think this is the kind of game against a Big Ten caliber defense where you're going to really feel the absence of R.J. Maryland, the underrated tight end that was kind of a security blanket. If SMU can't get the ground game going, I do worry about the offensive line stepping up in class against Abdul Carter and that Penn State defensive front.
Can I consider Clemson a Cinderella in this thing?
I mean, I think you have to, knowing that they had to win and get in. It's not quite like a team from the MEAC, coming in, winning their play-in game as a 16 seed and finding a way to upset the number 1 overall seed. But this is a Clemson side that has the pedigree but hasn't performed to that level this year. Cade Klubnik, a homecoming of sorts, already has 1 win in his career over Quinn Ewers when they were playing for a high school state championship back in January of a COVID year. And you do wonder for Clemson, though, defensively, if they can force Texas to settle for field goals instead of scoring touchdowns. If the Longhorns' offense bogs down like it's done so many times in the red zone, that'll keep Clemson hanging around. My big concern for the Tigers here is that they won't be able to run the football. And Phil Moffitt, dealing with a shoulder injury, has looked like a shell of himself. They lose a running back in the ACC championship to a torn-up knee. And if Cade Klubnik is forced to do everything, both as a runner and a passer, this Longhorns team has questions that need to be answered, but one of which isn't about a stop unit that's one of the nation's best.
All right, leg 2 of Fuhrman's tour tomorrow. We'll take him to the Horseshoe as Tennessee takes on Ohio State. So much around this game. I feel like Fuhrman, Tennessee is 7.5-point underdog right now at mybookie.ag. I feel like, though, they seem to be like the sexiest upset pick. As you chuckle, is that the same thing you've seen?
Yes, it is no doubt the sentiment there that Tennessee has become the in vogue underdog, and you can understand why the public is rallying around this Vols team, having seen what they did in the regular season finale against the pesky Vanderbilt team. Spotted the Commodores a 2-score lead early and was able to rally and play on their front foot. On the flip side of things, the last data point we have for Ohio State is them not just failing to cover against Michigan, but losing outright as nearly a 3-touchdown favorite. All the Boo Birds out in full force, trying to call for Ryan Day's job. Give Chip Kelly a ton of credit. He took responsibility and ownership for a lackluster offensive game plan. And I think the big question for Ohio State that we'll see early on in this game, if they can protect Will Howard, this will be one of the most talented receiving corps that Tennessee secondary has had to face. And Howard has done extremely well against man coverage that he's going to see a ton of against Tennessee. On the flip side of things, I do worry about Tennessee and their ability to get going offensively. I look for Ohio State to play 8 men in the box, try and do what they can to neutralize Dylan Sampson. And given how banged up Tennessee is at the receiver position, I think that's a storyline that's not getting enough buzz, showing that a couple of their top options were in red non-contact jerseys as recently, I should say, as Tuesday and Wednesday this week. They also lost 4 of their 10 scholarship wide receivers to the portal that won't be available. So if Nico struggles at all, this Ohio State team gets off to a quick start. I think it can get ugly for Tennessee. My numbers make it right around that 7.5 threshold. Better angle for me is attacking Tennessee's offense against the Buckeyes defense. I think Tennessee fails to get to 20 points. I like their team total under 19.5.
Wow. Yeah, I was going to ask you about the total overall. I mean, it's a low total at 46. I like the under, but, man, you get a short field here and there. You get something on special teams, it becomes a problem. Are you leaning under overall on this game?
You were exactly right, LT, and that's part of the reason that I wanted to try and isolate one side of the ball against another, because a 46 with multiple weeks to prepare for an Ohio State team that has said they want to be more aggressive in terms of throwing the football leaves me a little bit nervous. And as someone who has bet Ohio State unders in the past, some of these marquee games, it just doesn't give you a ton of wiggle room, and it's hard for me to even forget having under 52.5 for the Indiana-Ohio State game, where you didn't see much in the way of offense, but it was those short fields and special teams that created a little bit of a problem. So I can't quite get there with the total down at 46, and I do think if the number ticked down a shade more in that 45.5, 45 range, you would see some value seekers looking to actually bet it over.
I really believe Auburn basketball is the best team in the country right now. Tennessee in some polls, but in the Ken Pom and the net, it's Auburn. Even if they play without Johni Broome tomorrow against Purdue, we on the show think they win this basketball game. How do you feel about this showdown in Birmingham tomorrow afternoon?
You know, you'd love to see Auburn having this as a true home game, but this still will feel like a little bit of a home atmosphere. So it's always interesting in terms of the adjustments you make for home court. Given the proximity to campus, even if it's not in their normal gym. But in terms of not having one of your marquee players, not just on the Auburn roster, but in the entire sport, going to have a massive impact on this number. But this Auburn team, to your point, feels like a team cut from a different cloth right now. And while Purdue has had uneven performances thus far, it feels to me like Auburn wants to go out there and continue to make statements. They did it once last weekend against a Big Ten opponent. I think Purdue will provide a little bit more stiffer resistance than what they saw against Ohio State, but I'm not running to step in front of Auburn anytime soon just yet.
Hey, have you watched much of that Eagle Staff kid at North Dakota? A lot of our state was introduced to him the other night. That kid, I mean, he has got zero conscience shooting the ball.
I have not, but I'm still trying to figure out, and I give Coach Oates a world of credit. I don't know how easy it is to get from Tuscaloosa to Grand Forks. I mean, that's college hockey country. That's not exactly where college basketball programs from the SEC are supposed to go for true road games.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see him do it again. Trust me.
I don't either.
Hey, trust me. There's a reason that a lot of these mid-majors love to get the big boys coming into their small barns. They get everybody showing out. And look, I'll say one thing. I mean, Fargo is a hell of a lot nicer place to go than Grand Forks. You spend a day in December in Grand Forks, it's going to make you rethink a lot of your life choices when it comes to some of that wintry weather.
Fuhrman, we've got the NFL up against college football playoffs tomorrow. Typically doesn't go good for college, but it is the postseason, so we'll see what happens there. But interesting game early on in Arrowhead. Said this earlier this week. If you're going to jump on Kansas City, go ahead and take them plus the 3 points, because it's not going to go up. The only thing it would do is flip back around if Mahomes plays. Now it's gone from Houston, in some shops was -3 to open. It's gone all the way out to Kansas City -3.5 now that Mahomes will play. How big of a nightmare could this be for some shops out there if this thing hits in between?
Oh, I'm sure there are plenty of books that will be doing everything they can and then some, praying that this game doesn't fall Kansas City by 1 or 2. Because to your point, LT, you have professional bettors taking the asymmetric risk approach, going, you know what? If Patrick Mahomes is officially ruled out, that number wasn't going to climb much further than the Texans -3. Maybe it leaked out to -3.5. But the only side to make a case for early was backing the underdog in Kansas City plus the 3, figuring out what to do with that ticket later, given the fact that we've seen Mahomes play through similar injuries in the past. And when this number did touch forward some prominent shops, immediately you saw Houston Texans money come in. This Chiefs team, I know we've talked about at great lengths, has been one of the more overvalued commodities in the NFL. They did finally break that long ATS losing streak last weekend, but needed 6 turnovers against the Cleveland Browns to make that happen. For me, I was actually hoping this total climbed a little bit higher, want to go under. I'm going to wait this thing out patiently, but don't really have strong conviction when it comes to the side. Worry a little bit about Houston's ability to get things going in the passing attack, knowing how tough it's been to run on this Chiefs defensive front.
Maggie, my wife, texted me during the interview and said, tell Nicole that we tried her banana nut bread recipe yesterday, and it was delicious. It was fantastic.
You two kids.
Thank Nicole for sending that to her. We appreciate it.
Hey, you know what? I mean, look, you guys go back and forth. I mean, Dunaway, for all I know, you have more interaction with my wife than I do during football. So I'm gonna get my hat in that regard.
That's pretty typical, to be honest.
Fuhrman, first of all, we will not talk with you next week, so have a very Merry Christmas. Also, safe travels and enjoy these games, man. What a treat you guys are having for 2 college football games. That ought to be fun.
You know what, guys? I'm hoping that I don't learn from my mistake tonight, that I'll have to find some outdoor or sporting goods store to try and pick up a couple of extra layers. And we will see how fast my Midwestern blood is thinned out after spending 20 years in the desert. But no doubt looking forward to it. It's definitely a unique experience to be part of the college football playoff with on-campus venues and 2 of the more iconic stadiums as it pertains to Midwestern blue blood football. So looking forward to it, and you guys do the same. Enjoy the Christmas holiday, and best of luck at the wagering window with those pro and college pursuits.
Yep. See you, Fuhrman. Take care, buddy.
Merry Christmas, man. See you, bud.
That is Todd Fuhrman, one of our favorites right there on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
And the show brought to you by our buddy Dr. B. He's got LT's hair ready to flow in this holiday season, man.
Yeah, look, Brown's got his flowing out right now. Dr. B, best in the business. I had my buddy Tyler reached out yesterday. Hey, I need Dr. B's number for a friend. I get this every couple of weeks. Dr. B, the absolute best. If you're starting to thin out, be preemptive. If you've got a friend out there, your husband's thinning out, tell them. Let them go see Dr. Beckenstein, best in the business, t3hair.net. Call, schedule the consultation, 205-319-0316. Again, I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. My hair has more than doubled in thickness for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training, and genetic genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today, 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, urologycentersalabama.com, 16 locations in central Alabama. Make a promise to yourself, guys, that in 2025, right in January, you're going to find one of these locations, schedule an appointment so you're not caught off guard one day with a diagnosis that you could have been treated very easy if you had been on top of your health. Stay on top of your health with routine visits to our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920, 930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. 35 urologists, 16 locations, prostate health to kidney stones, and everything in between, including vasectomies, if that's the time for that in 2025. urologycentersalabama.com.
So those are NFL Network games coming up this weekend.
They are.
All right, so
which helps college football.
To Lance's point, it normally does not go well when college football goes head-to-head. There are a couple things at play here. Number one, the two early games are on Turner, TNT, which I don't think is going to help the TV viewing numbers.
I would agree.
No, that's going to hurt college football.
It's going to hurt college football because people are not accustomed to looking on Turner. Now, I will say it's getting, in those terms, it's getting better. Like we've talked about this a lot. Like on YouTube TV, I'm just picking the game. A lot of times I don't even know what channel I'm on. Like it takes me a minute. Am I on FS1?
Yeah.
Am I on Fox?
Well, now with YouTube, like it used to be pretty simple. You know what it was, and you go to 206 Phil's ESPN.
Right. I don't have to do that anymore.
Because now based on your algorithms, it's going to pop the game up.
So when I turn my TV on Saturday, that game's going to be there, and I'm just going to click on the game.
Yeah, but help me remember. Does YouTube TV, does it have NFL Network or does it not?
It does.
I get it.
Okay, yeah. So we have it. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Amazon Prime is the only one that won't pop up.
Yeah. You got to obviously go to a different platform there.
Yeah.
This weekend last year, just as a mode of comparison, if you want to see, who would win the numbers game here. This weekend last year, there was a triple header on the NFL Network. All right.
Do you remember the games?
I got them right here. The least watched was Minnesota-Cincinnati, 7.53 million people on the NFL Network. Actually, there was a doubleheader. I'm sorry. No, it was a triple header. Okay. Denver-Detroit, 9.15 million, and Pittsburgh-Indiana. Pittsburgh always a big TV, or Indianapolis. Pittsburgh always a TV draw. 9.79 million. So those were your numbers. Nothing over 10 million.
No, but that is some football viewers who would also be watching college football on a normal
Correct.
college football Saturday.
Now you've got competition. I bring all this up to say pretty much Tennessee-Ohio State's going to be standalone, and it's going to be on ABC. I will bet you that's the highest rated game this weekend of all of them, all the NFL and all the college. If it's a good game.
Or Friday night's game, which is also standalone tonight. Yes.
Yeah, I think maybe. Pittsburgh-Baltimore, it's a weird window because it's 4:30 Eastern.
Yeah.
But you do have the Pittsburgh brand. You've got the reigning MVP, and they're playing
game.
for the division.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so that's a massive game. And then early,
Kansas City's always a draw.
Yeah, you got Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, but those are the two TNT games. The night games, if you'll notice, ESPN sold those to TNT, the two early games.
Knowing that they might lose to the NFL.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they kept both primetime standalone games, and they got back some of their costs for paying for the playoffs
I'll say
by
this.
charging TNT to carry these two games.
This will be as close TV ratings-wise as the NFL
I would agree.
the same day.
Because here's the thing.
On the same day, this is
think
the closest they could ever get.
There are some certain college fans that just don't like the NFL.
That's right.
And our guy Jared last night, big LSU guy, he's like, I used to be a big Saints guy. I'm kind of done with it. I don't even follow the NFL anymore. But I would say most diehard NFL fans, because it is a first with college football, I think they'll be tuned into the playoffs. So I'm not going to be surprised if those two standalone primetime games do have bigger numbers.
All right, a couple of our great sponsors, and then we'll do our spotlight today for college football. No Haynes King originally scheduled for. He will catch up with Haynes again. Something has popped up in his life, so he'll join us again at another time. Show being brought to you today by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Again, just 2 days ago, it was 78 degrees in the afternoon here. Today, it'll go up to about 48.
Yeah, trust the name Birmingham is trusted for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. The name they have trusted since 1954. Call Chad Andrew. The guys there, hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090. If you have any of these issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
And our friends at New Life Art. That's Daniel A. Moore's shop, danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com. That is the legend right there, both in real life and in the art world. The legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban's 6 national championship seasons. You can also get the 2025 calendar, even if you can't get it in time for Christmas. You can get it in time for January, February, March, April, May, June. You know, the rest.
Well, what about July?
Yeah, July too.
Okay.
It's 20% off if you use the coupon code TNR. But get all the great artwork over the years from Daniel A. Moore right there at danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com. And it's time for the Spotlight. Tyler is about to hit the big button. It's brought to you by our friends at McCurry. Do it, my friend.
The College Football Spotlight.
When you're on the road like Todd Fuhrman, he's going to have to rent a car. They can be hard to find. Car, trucks, vans, passenger vans, SUVs, all at McCurry. Locations throughout North Alabama, Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, 2nd Avenue Northwest at Coleman, Skyland Boulevard at Tuscaloosa. Here is the number, 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Okay, I'm not even going to, this isn't even me lying here. This is a little emotional for me. First college football game I ever covered in my sportscasting life. I dreamed from when I was 11 of being a sportscaster. A way to go to the games because we couldn't afford it. And the first one I got to go to as a working professional was Kentucky-Auburn Jordan-Hare Stadium. And forever, the same scoreboard that was there that night has been there at Jordan-Hare Stadium until today.
The one that had the Birmingham News advertisement on it, right?
Jordan-Hare Stadium has taken down that iconic scoreboard at the end of the field there. They're putting up the new scoreboard this year before next season. And the one that had long time the Birmingham Post-Herald and the Birmingham News on it, and then other sponsors, as they continue to expand and put that new scoreboard in at the other end so the students will be able to not have cricks in their neck during the game, turning around, looking at the big screen. That iconic scoreboard has come down at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
It was always weird that in one end zone you had that massive screen, and then you look down at the other end zone and it literally looked like a 4A high school football scoreboard.
Yeah. Or the way college football used to look in the 80s.
That's true.
Yeah.
If you were an Auburn fan, would you want a piece of that for your sports room? Like, see that part they're taking out right there, just the down to go right that? That's pretty big. I don't know where you'd put it in your sports room.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty cool thing to have.
I bet Jimmy Rain's sports room is that big.
Oh, yellow fella? You think you might get that in
I've
there?
got a shot. I used that scoreboard when I took a shot of the Kick 6 scoreboard. I got a shot of that scoreboard.
Rather than this big screen?
Rather than the big screen. So I have the
Jimmy old school.
I have an iconic picture of that scoreboard, Kick 6, that I didn't take. Somebody sent it to me because I asked if anybody got a shot of it. So one of our great viewers and listeners sent it to me. But I have that saved and framed, and right under it says "Never Again." But that's a different story. No, I'm kidding.
Forget hell.
But that's an iconic moment. That's our spotlight today, brought to you by our friends at McCurry.
Yeah, McCurryRentals.com, McCurryRentals.com. I know you've probably got something planned for the next segment.
The very next segment?
Yeah. Do you?
I do, but we can do anything.
Dan Wetzel said something in his interview that I just want to kind of flush out. Is it flush out or flesh out?
I've heard it both ways.
Flesh?
I think it's flesh out.
Flesh out. Flesh out, huh?
Flesh out.
Flesh out.
Yeah.
Jack State, baby. Playing football today, though. Dan Wetzel said something I want to flesh out. Like, I think I know the answer to this. I think it's fairly obvious. But I at least want to ask you guys to see if you say, yes, Ryan, that is fairly obvious.
Okay. I will make a case as since they were on a quail hunting farm last night, that you use dogs when you're hunting to flush out, right? The bird? Or am I using that wrong?
No, you're using that right.
I've always
I think
thought
that's right.
Okay, so
like the police would say, we need to flush the criminals out,
Right.
so we can, yeah.
So flesh out and flush out, or have we just used it wrong? Tim Melton is now chiming in on the back row. Do we not flush out the birds, flush out the criminals, or are we fleshing them out too?
No, you're flushing them out. Yes.
But I'm flushing them out, right?
But I am
If you're getting
fleshing out this idea.
If you're getting into ideology, it's flesh out.
Flesh out.
Like
Okay, I'm
if you're
just saying.
looking to physically get something to run in a direction, you're flushing it out.
That's exactly right.
That's very well done, Tim.
Brown very well could be sending something in to flush something out in the next segment.
No, we're fleshing it out.
We're fleshing it out. Okay.
Go Gamecocks.
Okay, I just think both are not. Both terms are used.
What are we fleshing out?
We're fleshing out something Dan Wetzel said. Dan Wetzel said in his interview. I want to spring it on you guys to get your genuine fleshed out reaction, please.
Yeah, Rodney Scott Barbecue bringing you this part of the show. We will flesh out something from Brownie. If you want to go to Rodney Scott's Barbecue, you can flesh out the best in barbecue around town. Rodney Scott's.
Yeah, 2 locations, one in Trussville, one downtown Homewood. Stop in for lunch or dinner. Fantastic food from the incredible ribs, great wings, just everything on that menu. Those southern sides, homemade, great desserts. They serve James Beard award-winning barbecue. Support local this holiday season. Rodney Scott's Barbecue, locally owned and operated. And you can pre-order the spatchcock turkey for this Christmas. Go to RodneyScottsBBQ.com. Not only can you order that, you can get those delicious homemade southern sides, you can get the desserts, but you can also get gift cards. Great stocking stuffer from our friends at Rodney Scott's. Again, for more information, RodneyScottsBBQ.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV.
Hey, if you're looking for the perfect Thanksgiving meal, how about our friends at Rodney Scott's Barbecue? They are taking pre-orders right now to prepare your entire meal, from the homemade southern sides and desserts to the delicious pit-cooked spatchcock turkey, available for pre-order right now at RodneyScottsBBQ.com. Seasoned with the famous Rib Rub and Rod's original sauce, you're going to absolutely love it. Support local this holiday season. Rodney Scott's Barbecue, locally owned and operated, RodneyScottsBBQ.com.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of NextRoundLive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there, on the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy. Have fun out there.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wills, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC. See custom classic cars, hot rods, trucks, and motorcycles. And new this year, check out the exotic car exhibit. Plus, do not miss the BMX bike stunt team performing outrageous live stunts each day. And kids, meet your favorite costume characters and race Hot Wheels on the free Hot Wheels drag track. Don't miss the Super Show with one-of-a-kind vehicles from across the country. Get your discount tickets today at O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Get details at worldofwills.net. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? That's a bold question, but it's got that irresistible taste to back it up.
Well, one thing's for sure, when you've got an irresistible tasty match like zero sugar and 0 calories, something sensational is bound to happen. It's too bad you can't taste with your ears because this Coke Zero Sugar tastes amazing. You know, it's hard to put into words, and that's my job. You'll have to take a taste for yourself. Coke Zero Sugar, best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Back with you on the next round as we get ready for the playoffs. Brown has something to flesh out in just a second. I want to show a couple of things real quick, though. First of all, NFL football this weekend, meaningless game for the Patriots. Bills are playing. And for the first time, I think ever, they're wearing their red tops, white helmets, white pants.
Yeah, it is a new combo.
And it's a great-looking combo for the Buffalo Bills.
Well, other than it's Bills.
It looks like the Patriots.
Yeah, well, that's why they're saying that this is sort of a shot at the Patriots coming to town, that they're wearing that look there.
I think they should.
I think the Bills have just great uniforms as is.
The Bills, Roger Goodell should kick them out of the league for this.
No, it's a beautiful, beautiful uniform. And if you're wondering, we've wrung our hands a lot about how the college football playoffs will look, how it'll be managed. Very little changes to the home field advantage. There'll be some nuances. But look, the field, here's a look in Austin, Texas at the field. You can see at the 25s, in between the hash marks, you've got playoff first round, but they keep the SEC logos and the 100-year anniversary of DK Royal and the Texas logo in the middle. So that is the field there at Texas, the way it's going to be designed and painted onto the field.
My bigger concern, it would be less, Lance, about the design. We talked about this, more about like the in-stadium atmosphere, like the stuff that I do. Do you know the answer to this?
I do know some. Like tonight, for instance, SMU's band will be in the upper deck at Penn State. That is an SMU choice. You've got your allotted tickets. Some are in the certain percentage has to be in the lower. Some have to be in the upper regions of the stadium. And SMU chose, because it comes out of their allotment, the band that is traveling, to put their band in the upper deck.
Yes. You go freeze your ass off with that cold wind.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we use the jump around example. If by chance a game is ever in Madison, can they do jump around? Or is the college football playoff like, we don't want to be too home field?
I have looked at the manual. From what I could tell, you have control of all of that.
Okay, that's good.
Most of the neutrality of it all is only in the pregame intro, where the like you don't have to play, like Ohio State will not have to play Tennessee's third down video,
right, when
it goes to third down. You know, where Alabama used to have the elephants and the
So would Barry Bryant be talking on the big screen?
Yeah, if they're in Tuscaloosa.
Well, whatever you choose for your intro video,
well,
yes.
Never been nothing but a winner.
Yeah, I think usually it is. Usually, like if the Auburn-Purdue game tomorrow, I would imagine you're probably going to have a Purdue intro video before Purdue is announced, because that is a neutral site game and it is sold that way. This is a college football playoff game. I don't think it should be anything Tennessee at Ohio State. Shouldn't be anything SMU at Penn State, but apparently you will have visitors intro music, and after that, or intro video, and after that it'll be pretty much a home game, from what I could get from reading what looked to be a 15,000-page summary of how to manage a game day in the playoffs. Show being brought to you, before Brown fleshes something out, by a couple of great folks, including our friends at Gray's Trees Service. Listen, winter weather eventually would come. I had a little ice on my car this morning, a little frost, but somewhere, I guess it had rained at some point yesterday, but it had frozen on my handle. Eventually, it's going to get really cold. You don't want any trees to fall on your house when it snaps because of cold ice.
No, I like this time of year for it to have a little nip in the air. This is about as cold as I want it to get. But look, these trees will start falling. If they're dead, you look around, you're not really sure. These guys will come out and give you an absolutely free estimate. I had to get them out because I was afraid, based on where my property line, that they were going to affect my neighbors. Family owned and operated for over 25 years right here in Birmingham. They are experts in high-risk tree removals, trusted by nearly every golf course in town at Birmingham Zoo. No competition. Call the guys at Gray's today. Tell them the next round sent you. 205-281-6100. You can scan that QR code that is up right there on your screen, or just visit graystree.com.
Is your leaf blower back? Leaf blower guy back?
Not yet. Not yet. Hey, you know, I got that.
How long do you think it's been?
I got the Maddie's parents gave me a leaf blower for Christmas last year.
Yeah.
I still haven't used it.
Have you not?
Fighting back.
Well, you know what? I put this out on social media yesterday. My guy Mario visits his family in Mexico for 2 weeks every Christmas. So he does my yard before he goes and then does it when he comes back. I promise you, I get more leaves that fall in that 2 weeks than any other time of the year. So I'm out there yesterday with the blower just cleaning off the driveway. I cannot stand for leaves to be on my driveway, and I've got a billion trees.
How long did it take? Because there was a little moisture, because there was rain.
Yeah, they had dried out pretty well. I had to let them dry out. That's the other problem is they get on there and it rains on them. Now you got a huge mess. It probably took me 45 minutes to get my driveway completely cleared off.
Yeah, see, that's the problem, man. If you're like, you know, you're laying on the couch.
What are you laughing
next
at?
door?
Before you tell us about Coke, honest to goodness, we used to, when we first started together, we would have taken this clip from a, say, Columbus radio station.
Right.
And we would have played what Brown just said, and we would have had Rockstar hit a bell every time we heard a humble brag.
What's the humble brag?
This time of year, the guy who does my lawn, Mario, goes back to Mexico.
Yeah.
We have so many trees in my property.
I don't understand how that's a humble brag.
How is having a lot of trees in your front yard a humble brag?
You know what a lot of
my lawn people and
you know what a lot of trees gives you? A lot of leaves in my yard.
Yeah, those hungry deers have more trees in their yard than anyone.
That's right.
Yeah, they can't even find a meal.
And then we would have talked about James Sr. and his unfiltered cigarette drinking a hard Budweiser, not a Bud Light. He had been sitting there going, these boys are complaining about a leaf blower and 45 minutes on a leaf blower.
These are things that I don't recognize, or I recognize, but you know, I've got to be more understanding because, you know, back in the day we used to rake a yard and it would take hours, pain in the ass, bag it up.
Do not want that.
But now when you blow the leaves, it does take a long time. But man, if you're laying on the couch and that blower starts,
I hate
it's going to go forever.
But I can't have a leaf covered driveway.
Yeah.
I got to get them off the driveway.
You cannot.
Poor Mario. It just makes me appreciate Mario more.
That's right.
And I unfortunately,
and by the way, for those that were clapping back at Brown on social media, he's an American citizen,
United States citizen, very proud of it, and he will tell you. I've had long conversations with Mario.
So you didn't text him Feliz Navidad?
I did not. I will text him that.
Yeah, but the first 5 responses to Brown's post yesterday about Mario leaving the country for 2 weeks every time this year, and him having to get out and clear his leaves was tell him to get back in before January 20th. Or Trump's not going to let him back in.
And that's just a sad assumption people were making because I've actually had this conversation with
if Mario can blow all of those leaves from all those trees, he can scale a wall.
No. Mario, actual United States citizen, actually walked me through the process. Very proud.
What, of being a mule?
No, of being a United States citizen. Why are you just making assumptions about Mario? Mario is a hardworking.
Dunaway started the assumption.
He said people were assuming.
People on social media. I saw Brown.
I was trying to defend my man Mario, a naturalized United States citizen, and incredibly proud of it. We'll talk to you for a long time about it.
I have an alert set for a condescending Brown tweets, and what did you say to the first guy?
I told him it was an unfortunate assumption he made.
Was it unfortunate or sad?
Well, there was one that was racist. I said, you're kind of being racist.
Okay, so ask Mario. World Cup in a few years. Mexico plays the States. Who's he pulling for?
I think he would laugh that the States are in a meaningful World Cup game.
We have to be in. We're the host.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Won't be in for long, though.
Everybody gets the same number of pool play. And I actually think we make it out of the pool play. I'll go ahead and call it.
I've never heard this.
We'll get out of the pool
Tyler,
play.
for 1,000 years, I've heard biggest game in American soccer history. You know what normally happens? We lose. Tackle game day with a great taste of Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? Try and decide. So, Dan, if I heard Dan correctly, all right, you want to do it? Go
give me Hydro Life, too, since we went a little deep there on the Leafs conversation.
Hey, the gift of hydration this holiday season, our friends at Hydro Life Therapy, they can do it for you. IV therapies, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, now weight loss therapy, all under one roof. All you got to do is go online, hydrolifetherapy.com. You get all the information there. You can also book an appointment online. If you can't make it to one of the great locations of Hydro Life Therapy, 2 in Birmingham, 1 in Tuscaloosa, they can send a nurse to your home or business. Also stocking stuff for the gift card from Hydro Life Therapy. Inquire about memberships. Mention the next round, 20% off all the great services. For more information, hydrolifetherapy.com.
So Dan, if I heard him correctly, just said in passing, biggest game in Notre Dame Stadium history. Are we willing to accept that what we're about to watch this weekend are the biggest games in all of these stadiums that have ever been played in these stadiums?
No,
because
so I thought you guys might automatically say yes.
Well, I don't like calling out our guest if they're incorrect about something.
For sure, no way, South Bend. No
Okay,
way.
so in my lifetime, the biggest game I can remember at South Bend was Catholics versus Convicts. But there was that Michigan State Notre Dame tie was at Notre Dame Stadium, right? Which basically decided the national championship.
Yeah, that's just it, because if you say during the playoff era, during the BCS era, I'll even give you all of those. But it's not the case when we used to crown the national champion off of regular season and polls, because you had some of these games on campus that were so meaningful to your team being ranked number one and winning a national championship. So Notre Dame has had bigger games. That's one of them, Notre Dame and Miami.
Like Catholics versus Convicts was 88. I want to say that was number 1 Miami, number 2 Notre Dame. Could I be? I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, 93 Florida State.
93 Florida State with Charlie Ward up there was a massive game. Notre Dame won that game and then lost, I think, to BC the very next week.
Yeah, because I think Notre Dame played in the Sugar Bowl that year.
Yeah.
Easily, they've been bigger Michigan, Ohio State games in Columbus than this one that have actually decided who plays in the Rose Bowl and ended up being number one in the country. Who else has home games
Penn
this
State,
week?
I can't think of a game. I mean, you've had some midseason, regular season games, say like that Ohio State win they had.
Yeah.
I would be hard-pressed to tell you a game I know for certain there in Happy Valley was absolutely bigger than this game. Can you think of one?
There has to be, though.
Well, but I can't think of one right off
There
the
has to be.
This could be the biggest game in Austin on campus ever.
I disagree with that,
because
too.
it's a playoff game.
Well, what would you argue for, though?
I would have to go
You're just
back, but I mean,
saying.
we're still talking about programs in Texas they've won national championship.
Yeah.
Penn State's won them.
But most
Ohio State's won them.
Most
and
of
Notre Dame's
Texas'
won them.
biggest playoff implication, national championship implication games before we got to the playoffs were played in the Cotton Bowl. Oklahoma every year, or the Cotton Bowl game where they have won national championships by winning the Cotton Bowl, not on campus in Austin.
I think it's 50. I think it's half and half. I think it is not the biggest game ever played in South Bend or in Columbus.
Right.
I do think it's the biggest game played at Penn State or at Texas.
You can make the argument, yes.
Yeah.
I would disagree. Now, again, I don't have proof.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing.
But all I would say is, even if you win this game, now you got 8 teams left. You've won a playoff game, but there is still so much more to do. I would say there probably was a November game at all these stadiums where they had to win to get in the mix to win a national championship. Could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, for so long, though, people forget this. Before they joined the Big East was Penn State. They were an East Coast independent who traditionally played a bad regular season schedule.
Yeah. Penn State, they never joined the Big East.
Were they not Big East?
Yeah, I think
thought
they
Penn
went
State was
independent to Big Ten.
Straight to Big Ten?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, but either way, before they joined a conference is the way I should have said that. They were an East Coast team that played an East Coast schedule. They might have an Alabama come up there occasionally, which Alabama did a few times.
Yep.
But generally, they got knocked for their schedule, right? I mean, they had to overcome what was considered a weak regular season schedule.
I think Joe Paterno had several undefeated teams that did not win national championships because of their schedule.
And when I think of big games Texas could have played at home, you would have a Texas-Arkansas game. I think that game was in Fayetteville.
The biggest one ever was in Fayetteville.
Yeah, that's the one where President Nixon, or was it President Kennedy attended?
President Nixon gave him the national championship afterwards.
That's right. So that game was in Fayetteville. Their big rival is Texas A&M. I am hard-pressed to think of their big rival they play on campus is Texas A&M. I'm hard-pressed to think of a Texas A&M game that impacted the national championship. In my lifetime, I can't think of one.
I mean, most of them have been blowouts.
It's been, 2 8-win teams or something like that.
4 Downs Every Day is brought to you by our friends at Slice Pizza. Before LT tells us about Slice, I want to tell you about our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City, great guy there, and he's just a wonderful businessman, good-hearted guy. And there's some things with your home that if you don't have a good-hearted person, they can take advantage of you. Because how much of us really know what's going on our roof, right? We don't really get up there, and we just know when we got a problem. But he'll give you a free no-cost roof inspection, and there's no obligation. And you can just jump in our chat room and ask anybody who's ever used Greg from Pell City. There's a lot of them in there. Most of them will say, he came down and said, your roof's fine. You got 3 more years on that roof. I mean, that's honesty. man. You probably could come down and say, you probably next 6 months going to need a new roof. Let me go ahead and get you a good deal. And nobody would bat an eye at that. But he comes down and tells you sometimes, man, you got 3-4 more years in the roof. Just start with honesty. Good-hearted person. Trustworthy is the word I need to use right there for Greg from Pell City. And he gives you a free, absolutely free, no cost, no obligation roof inspection there. Call 205-542-3531 or look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City, and our friends at Slice.
Yeah, 5 great locations. You got friends and family coming in this weekend. Stop into Slice. Take them for Birmingham's best pizza. So unique, from the soul pie, the wing and a prayer, the hot mama bajaya special. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Okay, let me find out which direction I want to go with you guys, because I do have a celebrity birthday in here. I got a little college football. Let's start first with what would be the more embarrassing loss, Notre Dame to Indiana or Penn State to SMU?
I think the one that would hurt Notre Dame people the most would be Notre Dame losing to Indiana, because at some point they looked at Indiana back in 1958 and said, we are a better brand than you. We would rather play teams, big teams out of conference than play you in state. And the Big Ten used to say mean things to us, so we were like, F you, Indiana. And so we stopped playing you. And we've only played one time since 1958. So if now it's on the biggest stage and we're on campus for the first playoff game ever on campus at this level, and those boys from Bloomington come in and beat you in South Bend, I think that'd be pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, I don't live there, so I don't know how deep the hatred is, like how much Indiana feels like a little brother in this situation. I assume it's a lot, though.
I get the feeling there's a lot of Indiana fans who are also Notre Dame fans, because they never play each other.
Well, like I'm Indiana basketball, Notre Dame football type fan.
I think you have a ton of that.
Or a Notre Dame fan that's like, man, I hope Indiana plays well this week. Like, they have been such a non-factor, so irrelevant. Like, hey, it's good for the state, man. Let's throw them a bone. They're playing Purdue today. I don't really care if they win or lose.
You're a pretty good high school football player. Maybe you should go play at Indiana.
Yeah.
Aren't you a Notre Dame fan? Yeah. You should probably go play at Indiana.
I'm going to disagree, though, just based on the James Franklin factor. And that's the only reason, because you're, more than a touchdown favorite. We have been beating this guy up forever. He really didn't, even to get to where they are this year, he still didn't accomplish what he never accomplishes, is beats the top 5.
If I'm a Penn State fan and we lose this game, to Lance's point, I think we are never going to reach the big time of this guy. Never. We're not going to do it. This was our best chance.
In my head, you're still losing to a group of 5 team.
I don't entirely disagree with you. That almost makes it feel worse. It was a group of 5 top 10 team, and I still can't beat them. Like, it's not just because, again, going back to Dan, he kind of flushed it out as that's really just an Ohio State-Michigan stat, which kind of it is right now, an Ohio State-Michigan stat, until you add an SMU to it. Yeah. And then it's not an Ohio State-Michigan stat anymore. Now it's a true top 10 stat.
This playoff field feels like to me it's got two group of 5s in it, a Cinderella Big 12 that used to be in the Pac-12 conference that went away, and a relic of a bygone playoff era in Clemson.
and the national power with a backup quarterback, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of teams taking on water in this bracket for me.
Who's crapping on the playoff now?
Yeah.
You said I was earlier.
And the team that we left out was a 3-loss Alabama team. Yeah. So there's some holes in this thing.
Second down.
Today is National Game Day. As far as like board games, video games, a few guys, and we could go around. What is your favorite game growing up, whether it was a board game, video game?
Oh, that's a good question.
My dad used to love to roll the dice back in the day, so I just have good memories for some reason.
Did he ever get rolled out of a car when it didn't stop?
I don't think so. My dad could hold his own, man. He's been in fights before.
Well, I'm not talking about
his son.
That. No, I'm just saying.
His son is 0 for 3 lifetime. I am 0 for 3 lifetime in my fights. I've never won one.
It doesn't matter how tough you are. If you owe the wrong people money, safety in numbers.
No, we would turn our lights off to pay Dad, to pay his gambling debt if we had to. Yahtzee brings up good memories. Yahtzee. For me, was always good. But my mom loved a game that was called, and I hated this game, It was called Aggravation, and it was like a metal circular thing.
Jimmy, you be quiet in the corner.
Yeah.
And if you're not, it's called aggravation, and we're gonna beat your ass with a stick.
I mean, search it, and see if you can find a picture of it. It was called Aggravation.
No,
if
I remember this
correctly.
game.
It was like a metal tin can top like thing that had indentions in it, and you moved marbles around. And basically you ended up Aggravation. It was called Aggravation.
I remember this game. I did not like it.
I did not like it either.
Yeah.
Did not like it either.
It's a bigger trouble, basically. Right, Tyler?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It just looks like a more complicated version of Trouble.
Yeah, Trouble had the little pop thing in the middle where you pop it and the
I never played Trouble. I've never even heard of Aggravation.
Yeah.
I never liked the pop bubble games.
I didn't either. I didn't like those.
I didn't.
This is going to be extremely basic, but I had not thought of this memory in a very long time until you just brought this up. My maternal grandfather.
You're welcome, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, Lance. My maternal grandfather, Jesse Lusk, used to. I used to stay with them. My mom and dad both worked, so they would pick me up from preschool or early in my elementary school years, and I'd go to their house, and he loved to play checkers with me. And we'd sit down, and me and my granddad would play checkers. And as I think back on it now, he probably sat there way longer than he wanted to, just because I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah.
But we'd play checkers, and I know that's just basic old school, but the memory tied to it means a lot to me.
So we hadn't gone video games yet.
No.
Blades of Steel I loved.
Well, I thought you said board games.
No, I said board games or video games growing up.
Yeah.
Castlevania was one of the only games that ever, from start to finish, I actually completed that. But board games, Chutes and Ladders when I was really, really little. I liked Battleship, and I still love Uno.
Yeah.
What about you, Tyler?
So board games, I played a lot of Monopoly with my granddad.
I like Monopoly.
Takes forever.
Yeah, it does. It's a long game.
Forever. Same as your grandfather, he sat there longer than he wanted to.
Are you, not that you should have to have this rule, but are you automatic if you land on the spot you have to buy it?
No.
That speeds the game up a lot.
Oh.
Now, I think you ought to play it that way anyway. I mean, the whole purpose is to get as much as you can get. But sometimes you might be holding on to money hoping you get Boardwalk or Park Place, and you land on something and you have to buy it, and that screws you up on Boardwalk Park Place. But I think that's the better way to play it.
I think the official rule is like if somebody passes on a property, it gets auctioned.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
But I've never played it that way.
Yeah, that's a fun way to play too. Like if you land on Tennessee and then all of a sudden you don't want to buy it, then everyone else gets the opportunity to start bidding.
And it's a bidding process?
Yeah.
Wow.
What about the back row?
That's up there.
Forrester and Melton.
So for me, it was chess. I fell in love with chess in 4th grade and have played it ever since, and buy a chess set every single chance I get an opportunity to.
So you have multiple ones at the house?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, Melton, I've never played chess.
It's a great game. My older brother taught me how to play, and I haven't played in a few years. I randomly played somebody that said they were in a chess club like 5 or 6 years ago, and I smoked him my first game
Do
out.
you think you could smoke Melton?
Nope,
if he brought,
I don't, because he plays all the time, and I don't even know if I played for another year or two if I could beat him.
I really don't play all the time because I can't find people that want to play chess. And then when I do, if I win, they don't want to play again. So it's not got a great return rate. And GoldenEye 64 for video games.
Oh, you loved it too, Tyler?
Such a good game.
Oh, wow.
GoldenEye's great.
I logged so many hours onto that game for sure.
Is this James Bond?
Oh, yeah.
Wait.
You can't let anybody play his odd job, though, because he's shorter than everybody else.
Yeah.
It's cheap.
Height discrimination in that game.
So is that hard to shoot him or something?
Yeah, it's a smaller target. It's on the N64, so you can't really aim. You can kind of just look around and shoot straight.
And so everybody's shooting over Oddjob's head.
Yeah.
So Oddjob's the cheat code.
Yeah. But if you play as the tall guy, you get gunned down really easy. So, that was not a good life lesson for me.
This is a test of mine and Melton's newfound friendship here. Stocksdale just texted me and said, are you sure nobody wants to play you when you win, or you don't want to play them if you lose? Stocksdale, that's from Stocksdale.
Okay, first of all, that's not his name. Secondly, that's a fake text.
Dunaway is trying to show us he's got friends today.
I know.
First with Fuhrman and then this imaginary
AI.
AI.
That's not Damien's last name?
No, it's not
You added an
Stocksdale.
extra S.
You added an extra S.
Stockdale?
Plus, the way you're pointing at your phone gives you away.
Yeah,
this
of
is why
course.
you're a bad poker player to begin with, because you're a horrible liar.
Damien.
Hey, and I honestly thought Dunaway would go spin the bottle, didn't you?
7 minutes in heaven.
I don't know how you guys kissed or played 7 minutes in heaven. There's no board involved there.
Does anybody know? Does anybody remember the cheat code for Contra? Well, that's going to be my age group. I don't know if they even played it.
I played some Contra.
Do you remember the cheat code, Scott?
I don't remember what the code was, but it was lengthy.
I think it was up, down, left, right, and then there was something else, and you got unlimited lives.
Was it like a AB or something?
Maybe. I think it was up, down, left, right, and then it went to something else, if I can remember. It's been forever.
Why would you want
since I did that.
unlimited lives?
Well, because then if you die, you could keep going. You don't have to go back to the start.
All right, I've got it here. It's up, down, left, right, BA start.
How about me remembering most? I mean, that goes back to the 80s, and I remember that. Yeah.
Forrester, what was your favorites?
Battleship. Played a good bit of Battleship when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And they have online versions of it now, which, every once in a while I'll mess around with.
Where were we? Were we somewhere recently where somebody walked in with a battle?
It was the Army Navy game.
It was Army Navy. Somebody walked in with an aircraft carrier
on
their head. And I was like, if there's a destroyer and battleship rolling in afterwards, we're going to have a fun game. All right, third down.
Third down.
That was a fun question, Lance.
Very random here, but De'Aaron Fox, 27 years old today. Better career, ultimately De'Aaron Fox or Megan Fox?
Oh, wow.
Who's got worse toes?
I don't know about her toes.
No, it's her thumbs.
Her thumbs.
Yeah.
She just doesn't do her fingernails the right way to match that thumb.
So you're saying that she could manipulate and make it look better?
If she did the right nail, then it wouldn't show how toe thumb it was.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, she can manipulate that a
little bit.
little bit.
A little bit, like makeup on a manly chin.
Yeah, I mean, for the record, De'Aaron Fox is one of the best guards. A lot of people don't know because he plays for Sacramento.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he is legit. I don't know. Megan Fox is just iconic because of how she looks, I guess.
Yeah, I'd go De'Aaron Fox on this, but I at one point in time, a big Megan Fox fan, yeah. Back in the chick bracket days.
Her career's coming to a close pretty soon.
Oh, Megan Fox's is? Why?
Yeah. She's gotten so much work done where it doesn't look good, and now she's in these awful Netflix movies. And
I'll tell you though,
mainly in headlines for her relationship with Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah. Okay, so have you seen the newest where it's almost like Ex Machina-like, where she plays the robot?
I heard about that. It looks awful. Oh, Scott's seen it.
It's so bad.
But she looks so good in it. Now, I'm sure there might be some filtering there, but so she plays basically a AI nanny, and it's, of course, that's one of those. Doesn't the wife immediately send that back?
You would think.
Yeah. If your nanny's Megan Fox, yeah, you find another nanny. Yeah.
I got this Megan Fox robot to clean the house.
No, you don't. I'm going to unplug her. We're not charging her.
Fourth down.
Jonah Hill, 41 years old.
Jonah Hill or Tyreek Hill?
No, I was just going to say best Jonah Hill movie for you guys.
It's probably Wolf of Wall Street, right?
I mean, his role in Wolf of Wall Street was incredible. Now, he has become a pretty good actor, from the fat kid that he was and very funny. I mean, Superbad was fantastic. Moneyball, he was really good in that part.
When he goes in the office with Leonardo DiCaprio and he shows him that note that says, "I'm wearing a wire," he gets so nervous he doesn't know what to say.
But I'm telling that is some of the best comedic acting though you can have around. And he's one as good as it was with Scorsese, and it's got the most F-bombs ever in history, and Margot Robbie in probably her ultimate prime.
Absolute peak.
But Jonah Hill stole the entire movie to me.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I would go with Superbad for me.
Superbad.
Did you ever see War Dogs?
War Dogs is fantastic.
It really is, man. And he is great in that, too.
Underrated comedy with Jonah Hill, The Watch. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it.
I have not.
Ben Stiller, Vince Vaughn, Jonah Hill. They do a neighborhood watch with aliens invading it. It would actually work better in today's time than it would when it came out.
Yeah, he's done some funny stuff, though, man.
Also good in Moneyball.
Good in Moneyball.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is Four Downs, brought to you by our friends right there at Slice.
Yeah, created by the late Jeff Bajaya. His brothers Jason and Chris continue to celebrate his legacy. Get into one of those 5 locations all weekend long. Gift cards available too. Fantastic pizza, local ingredients, slicebirmingham.com.
We've waited all these years for a 12-team college football playoff. We'll talk a little bit about it when we come back on the show. That's brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. ChampysChicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Final hour hour of the show today right here, always brought to you by Champy's. Go by and see Sterling and the crew right there. Deep fried chicken, great sides, and, of course, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. It's champyschchicken.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Hey, if you're looking for the perfect Thanksgiving meal, how about our friends at Rodney Scott's Barbecue? They are taking pre-orders right now to prepare your entire meal. From the homemade southern sides and desserts to the delicious pit-cooked spatchcock turkey, available for pre-order right now at RodneyScottsBBQ.com. Seasoned with the famous Rib Rub and Rod's original sauce, you're going to absolutely love it. Support local this holiday season. Rodney Scott's Barbecue, locally owned and operated, RodneyScottsBBQ.com. Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? That's a bold question, but it's got that irresistible taste to back it up. Well, one thing's for sure, when you've got an irresistible tasty match like zero sugar and 0 calories, something sensational is bound to happen. It's too bad you can't taste with your ears, because this Coke Zero Sugar tastes amazing. You know, it's hard to put into words, and that's my job. You'll have to take a taste for yourself. Coke Zero Sugar, best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Here at the Next Round, we love our guests, especially our 2024 football regulars. Auburn, Alabama fans, we've got your guys. On Mondays at 9:25, we'll be joined by Alabama offensive lineman Tyler Booker, and Tuesdays at 9:25, we chat with Auburn quarterback Peyton Thorne. Join us and rep your team.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Jack State and Ohio are playing now in the Cure Bowl. Then we'll move to Gasparilla Bowl, Tulane in Florida. Those are bowl games. Playoffs tonight, Indiana, Notre Dame. And then tomorrow, remember, the first two games are TNT, if you're looking for those. SMU, Penn State, Clemson, and Texas. And then prime time tomorrow night, Tennessee and Ohio State. Auburn and Purdue in basketball tomorrow, 3:30 down at Legacy Arena. If you need tickets for that, our friends at ATIX can help you get in with tickets there. Show being brought to you by a couple of our great sponsors. One of them, our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa.
Woodhouse Day Spa, just a great place to go for the significant other in your life to pick up that gift card this holiday season. Guys, you've been procrastinating. Now is the time to pull the trigger. You can either stop by the Summit Shopping Center. Maybe the wife or girlfriend has drugged you up there to not necessarily drug you up there. And you want to veer off. You're like, hey, I'm going to run to this bar and get me a cocktail. You can run down the hill, go to the Woodhouse Day Spa, pick up that gift card. She's going to absolutely love it. Let her choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services, and right now, 6 for $5 services. The way it works, you pick out 6 services, you only pay for 5. Mention the Next Round, very important. Gift card, simple solution. Buy them 24/7 online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
All right, before we get into back to football, the playoffs and things, a couple of things to clear off the board, including Auburn updating us on Johni Broome, cut number 2, Bruce Pearl. As we get ready for Auburn to play Purdue in a top 20 matchup, the SEC this year, 157-20 overall. They have 14 of their 16 teams in the top 50 in the net, 13 of the 16 teams in the top 50 in the KenPom. They are 30-4 against the ACC. I'll say that again. They are 30-4 against the ACC. And now Auburn plays Purdue in a Big Ten game. Here's Bruce Pearl yesterday updating us on the status of Johni Broome for this game and moving forward.
You know, we got a positive report from the standpoint of no surgery required. And no damage. It was a different. It was. Let's just leave it at that. He won't practice today, but you know he will travel obviously up there, and you know I couldn't even tell your status whether it's questionable, not likely. We don't know. But the good news, it's not a long-term problem.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll play. I am told he is experiencing a little soreness, as you would expect, in that area. But we'll see. We'll see if he gives it a go against Purdue or not. We think he can win with. We think Auburn can win with or without him in this contest tomorrow, 3:30. As we jump back into football, New York Butcher Shop to watch the games this weekend. A great place to swing by and get ready to grill this weekend.
Yeah, and how about like you're heading over to a Christmas party this weekend? You don't want to go empty-handed. You can pick up some of that banana bread that Dunaway was talking about yesterday. They've got a great selection of fine wines. They offer discounts on the half case, 10% off, full case, 15% off. They're glad to help you pick out a great wine to pair with your meal. Jim knows all of that great stuff. The original location in Cabo Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Pick up one of those applewood smoked spiral sliced hams, some of those homemade desserts, the great sides, all right there for you. One-stop shop, New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Jarquez Hunter, no surprise to anyone, officially announcing he's heading to the National Football League, and one of the best running backs in the country. Yeah. He'll have a great career in the NFL.
I was going to ask that. What kind of NFL career do you think he'll have? I mean,
no idea.
I mean,
Kyron Williams coming out, who was second leading rusher last year in the NFL. Did anybody believe coming out of Notre Dame he was going to make an impact? Isaiah Pacheco from, for the Kansas City Chiefs coming out of Rutgers. I mean,
I think he's got a skill set that should work.
I picture him like not quite as good of a receiver, but I don't know if we know what he can do out of the backfield catching. I have him Jahmyr Gibbs like.
Oh.
No, that's a high bar. Jahmyr Gibbs playing really well.
Gus Edwards, we saw the impact he made last night for the Chargers. I mean, who knows? Like, running backs, very difficult. One of the reasons they don't go in the first round is because of mileage, and you can get them on the cheap now. But it's really hard to, like, if you went through the most impactful running backs right now, like Saquon coming out of Penn State was an absolute stud, All-American. Right. But the majority of the time, Derrick Henry was a stud too. But a lot of these guys, they have good, solid college careers, but they're not great.
Bijan's been great with the Falcons at 135 the other night.
Yeah, and he was really good with Texas too.
Yeah, he was really good with Texas.
How many career receptions? He's played all 4 years. Do you think Jarquez Hunter has?
I think because of their styles that he has played with while he's been there, not a lot.
I would say 27.
I'm going to say it's very low.
So, no, it's 68, but that's 4 years of football.
That's right.
He's played a lot of football at Auburn.
I remember it seems like about one a game.
Yeah, I mean, that's close to right. Yeah. I mean, he has not been utilized out of the backfield in the passing game very much at all. In fact,
Aaron Jones, UTEP.
5 passing touchdowns. And like I said, he's played a ton of football. So Aaron Jones a good comp, you think?
I don't know about that. I'm just saying.
Coming out of nowhere,
this random UTEP kid.
Baker Mayfield was the deciding factor, or the cherry on the top, to get John Mateer to Oklahoma. As Mateer was leaving Washington State, Oklahoma was his likely destination until North Carolina jumped into the mix, and there was some thought that Belichick was maybe going to at least get him into a room and possibly try to sway him at the last minute to be at North Carolina. Baker Mayfield made the call and told John Mateer what he would get at Oklahoma, and he signs there. Jarquez to the NFL, so too is Gary.
I was wondering, is there any more context? Like, did Baker give him money?
No, I'm just saying, Baker Mayfield telling him what he'd get at Oklahoma. Baker played for the guy that always has good quarterbacks, I mean, it's kind of a different experience for Baker Mayfield at Oklahoma.
West Virginia's quarterback Garrett Green's going to the NFL as well. He announces that he's doing it as a wide receiver, not as a quarterback.
I thought Garrett Green was much better with his legs. I don't know what his hands are like. I assume he's got good hands, but that is an interesting choice.
Yeah, I thought so too. We'll get to the playoffs now and the games that are happening tonight and tomorrow, brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. A look ahead to the playoffs here.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. Call, ask for Amy, tell her the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You got 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Look, you give all these presents to everybody around. You sit there and you think to yourself, maybe I want a present for myself. How about the gift of sight? You've been wearing the contacts or the glasses for years. You're wasting money each and every year on that. Make the phone call that I made. I've got 2015 vision, better than 2020. 205-969-8100 or MichelSonLaserVision.com.
All right, best quarterback in the game tonight, Rourke or Leonard? Your opinion first.
I think it is Leonard, but again, the experience from Rourke, and you heard Curt Cignetti and talk about these MAC games and a kid from Canada, and he's played in these conditions before, so I think that could be a factor. But I think the overall better quarterback, Riley Leonard, what he does, and look, Rourke can run it too, but Riley Leonard, what he does with his legs, especially if Jeremiah Love is not completely healthy, that might be a factor.
I mean, it is tight. You even had to say, I think.
Yeah. No, it is tight.
I mean, this is probably, well, I don't know. I can't say that. I was going to say this is probably the closest the quarterback matchups are in any of these games, but that's not technically true, I don't think.
Nope.
I mean, if you gave me one to go and battle with, I'd probably take Riley Leonard.
I think they're coin flips in every quarterback matchup.
You're right. As I started thinking through it before I said that, I think every one of them is a coin flip.
And they're almost paired up almost like skill sets a little bit in some of them. Riley Leonard, Alabama native, on what has prepared him for this moment.
It's got great.
I could go back to probably when I started football when I was 6 years old. I've been in every situation, felt the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. So this, I've played in a lot of big time games too, right? Even my past at Duke, right? We had prime time games as well. So I've been in this situation. I know what it's like, and at the end of the day, like what changes? I mean, really nothing.
Probably not going to feel the same as a primetime game at Duke in the college football playoff.
You think he gets carded?
I mean, Riley, pop that back up if you can, Scott. It literally looks like, Riley, congratulations. You've won the student drawing. You get to lead the team out of the tunnel. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, or the guy that McAfee brings out to kick on college game day.
Yes. I mean, he does not look like a college football player.
No, and he's a physical quarterback, too.
Yeah, he does not mind sticking his nose in there, does he?
Yeah, nope. So that's happening tonight in South Bend. I am worried. In fact, I'm going to say it. I think Steve Sarkisian is going to be – I think he's going to the NFL.
You based this on
his attitude. I got two sound bites.
Yeah, two sound bites is what he's based.
Let me hear him because I never even thought about this.
Well, he's coached in the NFL before.
Well, no, I've thought about maybe one day, but with what he's got right now, like I would be shocked the way he's built this because I fully expect them to roll Clemson tomorrow.
First off, Diego Pavia, that reaction. Give me cut number 7 if you can. Diego Pavia's NCAA ruling. If you're watching the reaction to the court ruling on Diego Pavia, according to anyone who's following this.
And how big would this story be if it was anywhere but Vanderbilt in the SEC?
Yeah. Well, no, it's huge.
Yeah.
And it's actually bigger around the country than it is around here because we're not talking about it. Charlie Baker, head of the NCAA, says we're about to create a freight train where nobody's going to be able to leave college. Well, we've talked about it on the show before where what's going to keep somebody from saying, well, why do I only get 5 years?
Yeah, like
of eligibility?
Curtis Work, I don't think is going to play in the NFL. Yeah. Why would he not stay and play for $1 million plus at Indiana?
But it is. I mean, it's always been a bit of an arbitrary number, right? Did we start with 4 years because freshman, sophomore, junior, senior?
That's right.
And then at some point we're like, oh, maybe they're not ready to play. So let's give them a redshirt. So then we moved it to 5.
Yeah, I can be eligible as a student as long as I pay my tuition.
Right.
Yeah, and according to all the lawyers who saw this, the legal clause that unless there's some kind of provision passed, some law that's passed, because of this Diego Pavia ruling, if it's held up, if they decide to challenge it, maybe they'll decide not to challenge it. The NCAA just says we're just going to, as long as you're a college student and paying, to go to college or getting a scholarship, it is undue restraint on trade because now they are ruling that I am preventing you from making money with this rule. Yeah. Undue restraint on trade. And a lot of people are saying that we're about to see you not run out of eligibility. If you want to keep playing and they want you to be on the team, you can be on the team as long as you're a college student. Sarkisian was asked about this. Watch how angry he is about the college game right now. Here's Steve Sarkisian.
Yeah, Steve, with Diego Pavia getting the extra year now after essentially having his JUCO years not count, I'm curious for your thoughts on that, not necessarily as a head coach having to manage a roster, but as a former junior college athlete yourself who, played 2 years there and then only got 2 years at the NCAA level at BYU.
Yeah, I totally disagree with the NCAA's determination on this. We chose to go to junior college football, and that's where we wanted to start and play our career. So I don't understand it at all. We're going to have guys 28, 29 years old playing college football. Like, what's the point, man? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I totally disagree with it.
Okay, well, a couple of things. I don't think he chose to go to JUCO. I think he probably got recruited, and that was his option. People like Sark or big programs probably would get upset because their talent's going to come in, and they're going to go to the NFL. Because, after 3 years or 2 years or however long they're at Texas, and once they're draft eligible, they're out. The teams that will benefit are the lower level teams like a Vanderbilt, where maybe they can pay just enough to hold on to these guys. What they've got to do, though, I don't have a problem with this, but there does have to be a limit. Like, you can't play for 10 years.
I mean, I don't know what the limit is, but Diego Pavia is an excellent example. I don't think any of us think this guy has a future in the NFL.
No.
Not at all.
But he's good enough to keep Vanderbilt fairly relevant in the SEC. By Vanderbilt standards, extremely relevant.
I don't know for how long, but for another year, yeah.
I mean, I would say...
I don't know if he can do it at 30, but he can do it right now.
How old is Pavia? Do we even know?
Well, I would say 22. I don't think he was that fired up.
Wait.
Yeah, that one wasn't as bad as...
Well, that's an absolute... That is something you say that can come back and hurt you in recruiting. All of a sudden, maybe the best defensive lineman in the country is a junior college player. Well, now you've said we chose to go to, I hate the NCAA.
Right. So it wasn't his anger. It's just that he painted himself in a recruited corner there and doesn't care.
I disagree with this.
Okay.
28-29. What are we even doing?
Yeah, but again,
what are we even doing?
The guys they recruit, they don't have any desire to hang out in college. I mean, even Quinn Ewers right now probably will not come back. I think he's should. He'll probably go to the NFL.
Here's Steve Sarkisian getting asked about Quinn Ewers, possibly his final game ever in Austin.
You know, Quinn obviously needs to make a decision after this season is over. But if this ends up being his last game,
no hypotheticals. I'm not doing hypotheticals. Next one.
It's not a hypothetical. I'm saying if this ends up being his last game, can you talk about his impact that he's had in the 3 years that he's been here? Or he has not had an impact?
I'll answer the question as it pertains to his impact now. I'm not going to answer the question with a hypothetical.
Well,
so do you want to rephrase the question?
Quinn Ewers has been here for 3 years. What has been his impact that he's had since he's arrived on campus and to where he is now?
Quinn's had a tremendous impact from where our program was when he arrived, and the faith that he's had in our program. We were a 5-7 football team, and the fact that he endured an 8-5 team to the next season, going 12-2, being Big 12 champs, going to the college football playoff, to our first season in the SEC, taking us to an SEC championship game, and again with a fairly high seed in the college football playoff again. I've been really proud of the impact that he's had on our program.
Forster and I watch a lot of Sark news conferences the last couple of years.
That's the dickish I've ever seen him.
That's exactly right. This was a different Steve Sarkisian this week, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was a little short with his answers.
Who did that answer sound like?
Nick Saban.
Yeah. I'm not going to deal with hypotheticals.
But could you not just easily say, hey, look, when your season is over, is Quinn Ewers a quarterback you want back on this roster?
Yeah.
If Quinn Ewers wants to be Texas's starting quarterback next year, is he welcome?
Yeah.
That's not hypothetical, right?
No, that's not at all. Now, he wouldn't answer that, but it's not a hypothetical.
How do you think he would answer that?
I'm getting ready to play Clemson. The last thing I'm worried about is end of the season roster retention.
Yeah.
Okay, let me re-ask it.
If I don't get out of this, here's a typical coach answer. If I don't get out of this press conference and get back to Clemson prep, this is going to be the end of our season.
I was just going to say, okay, so are you comfortable with your quarterback right now, your starting quarterback in Quinn Ewers?
Yeah, absolutely. I love Quinn and what he brings to this team. Obviously, we've got a great deal of depth. We trust Arch. If he has to be in the game, we've obviously put him in the games and situations. I mean, you know how coaches answer these questions. But I mean, I understand your question. The point to the question that Sark got so upset about there was actually the guy could ask the question he wanted answered without even speculating whether or not Quinn Ewers is going. He's just asking for his impact on the program. And I don't blame Sark on this week of all weeks to not sit there and speculate on whether Quinn Ewers is going to be there next year. What good does that do Steve Sarkisian?
I agree 100%.
Right?
It does nothing for him.
Why are you answering the question? It's like Quinn got asked. We played it yesterday. He was getting asked about his view. Is this your last game? Maybe from the same reporter. I don't know.
But back to my point on Sark, I think where they were last year, getting to a college football playoff, winning the Big 12 in their final season, getting to an SEC championship, falling short, but now in the college football playoff, with the money he's making and what he is building, I don't think he would want to leave with this incomplete.
Would Brian Kelly and Lincoln Riley, would they leave for a good job? Brian Kelly did. Lincoln Riley
did. But they went college to college.
Yeah, and it's a different situation. Yeah. You're talking about now, would they go to the NFL? Maybe, because we talked to an LSU fan last night that said, I mean, he went through all these hoops on what it's going to take for Brian Kelly to ever win that fan base over. Lincoln Riley's lost his fan base.
If Sark loses tomorrow, he's 0-2 in the playoffs as a head coach. Matching Brian Kelly and his one loss behind Lincoln Riley, who's 0-3 in the playoffs.
I get it, but they're in a much better spot than they were the last decade.
You're the Texas head coach for the college football playoff. I'm just going to run through these. You give me the one that interests you. Jets?
Oh, it's going to be the Dallas Cowboys. That would be my pick.
That's it?
I
That's
get
the only
Dak
one?
Prescott. I get the receivers. I get CeeDee Lamb. I get to design my plays. He's a great play caller. Not a bad defense.
Would you take the Bears job, Caleb Williams?
That would be interesting, but I probably would have to step on Lincoln Riley's back to get that one. I mean, do you see how many people are leaving USC? Do you you think there's a buzz in that building and maybe Lincoln's not going to be there?
It's a fire drill right now there.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, New York has been, not the Jets, the Giants have been a really good organization, and you're going to get to select your quarterback. I think the Giants would actually end up being a good job.
But if you're tied to Dak Prescott,
don't want to be tied to Dak.
I don't either.
If you're tied to him as an organization, which the Cowboys are now because they gave him that big deal, You've got to go find somebody who can call plays at a brilliant level to help Dak Prescott, and I think that's Steve Sarkisian. If I was Jerry Jones, he would make whatever he wants to make to be my next head coach. And he'd have to call plays.
Well, he's been an exceptional play caller on the college level. I don't think he was viewed that way in the NFL, though, with the Falcons. Now, again, in the NFL, there's a lot of times it's personnel related.
Well, he had an MVP quarterback.
Yeah, he did have that.
All right. Ryan Day, we talked about him earlier in the show, being brought to you now by our friends at Coca-Cola. Ryan Day on accountability. Tell us about Coca-Cola, Brownie.
Coca-Cola asked the question, is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan Day, you mentioned it to Wetzel. There is a belief out there by many people, like you said, LT, if he loses this game tomorrow night to Tennessee, despite being 66-11 at that point, that he could possibly not make it to Monday as the head coach at Ohio State. Here's Ryan Day on accountability for him, his players, his program.
I think when you come off of any loss, you want to identify the things that went wrong, the things that obviously went well, but the things that went wrong, and then everyone's got to take accountability. And if we're going to move forward, there has to be accountability between the players and the coaches, and that's about trust. And there's been open dialogue there. We've had some really good meetings in those areas, and you got to take accountability. Here's some things we got to do better. Here's adjustments we have to make based on what's going on, and then both sides understanding that we're all looking to do the same thing here. And I think you got a very, very mature team, so their feedback is very critical in this. And I thought it's been very, very productive. I think we're all in the same. It allows you to move on quicker. I think you get to get it out there. Everyone talks through it. Here are the adjustments we're going to make. Everybody agrees with it, and then we're all rolling in the right direction. And that's where we're at right now.
A lot of pressure on this guy in this game, man.
The most of anybody in the playoffs.
Yeah, they got to get off to a fast start. Again, they haven't lost back-to-back home games since 1990, so this is uncharted territory. If he was to lose this game, I don't know what happens. It is really fascinating. Quinshon Judkins, Travion Henderson haven't been as good as we thought they would be. A lot of this offensive line related. Problem is Tennessee only gives up 99 yards a game on the ground. That's 8th nationally right now. I don't think Nico can beat this defense. But if Tennessee can wreak havoc defensively.
Well, can they run the ball? If Nico can't beat them, can they run the ball? Can Tennessee run the ball on
I don't know about you guys, but if I'm Jim Knowles, I'm like, the one thing that will not happen is Dylan Sampson is not beating us. So if Nico goes out there and slays us, so be it. But we are making sure that Sampson doesn't go over 100 yards.
If Ryan Day's pressure level in this playoffs is 100 out of 100, and I think we would all agree it is, right?
Yeah.
100 out of 100. James Franklin's obviously number 2. What is his?
There's not the call. There's not the screaming to fire him like there is
not.
For Ryan Day.
But he's got a lot of pressure. I mean, don't you agree he's second in the pressure meter?
Yeah. And now look, this is probably not a fair conversation, but if I'm close to Ryan Day, be like, hey man, you were a former New Hampshire quarterback. You're the head coach at Ohio State. You've done some great things. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to get $30+ million.
Yeah. If you lose the game, you take $30 million and go home.
And you're going to be one of the most coveted offensive coordinators out there. Your career is not going to be defined. I wouldn't tell him this. Your Ohio State career will be. But your career is not going to be defined by this game. There's a way to.
That is a great point because a friend of mine who used to coach college basketball told me a story about his dear friend who was at a program, a big program, major program, and he got called to the AD's office while it was right when their season had ended, and he was on the phone with my buddy, and my buddy was like, he told me, he's like, I think they just summoned me down to the AD office. I think I'm about to be fired. And he had another year left on his contract, and my buddy, who had experienced the same thing, said, well, just look at it this way. You're going to get paid, and you're not going to have to coach that ratty roster of yours again. You're going to get the money. Just go down there, say thank you, be nice, shake hands, and take the multi-million-dollar check, and let's go fishing. And he called him back 30 minutes later and said, they're keeping me. And
he talked into leaving.
And he was almost disappointed that he's got to coach that ratty-ass roster.
Yeah, Ryan Day is only 45 years old. I mean, there are so many different things he can do. And, when I try to put things in perspective. If something's not going well, like, hey, look, you got your health, you've got good friends, you got family. I mean, there's silver linings all over the place. The worst thing that's going to happen to him is he's going to lose his job and get paid a shit ton
Never have to work
of money.
Only $37 million, and I say only because of what we've seen recently in buyouts. That's manageable compared to what Texas A&M did and some others.
If I'm Ryan Day, I take $37 million. And I might take a year or two off, or I go to the NFL and try to be a coordinator somewhere. Like, let me see if I can do this in the NFL, and if I'm a good coordinator, I'll be a head coach at some point.
Yeah, I do think the difference in this game will be Ohio State's defense. I think they will limit Dylan Sampson, their 8th in pressure rate. Again, take away the Vanderbilt game. Nico has 1 touchdown pass on the road. Yeah. I think this is going to be one of those environments. I know Wetzel said, hey, look, they go 3 and out, they're going to be booing. I don't know, man. If I'm an Ohio State fan, I at least try to let a little bit of the game play out. Let's try to be together as a fan base. Yeah. Let's back this team because they are talented enough to win a national championship.
I worry about Will Howard, but I agree. Everything points to Ohio State. But if you watch Tennessee play, and they get a lot of one-on-one coverage because you're trying to stack the box to stop Sampson, Nico is just off a little bit on those deep balls all the time. He's just off a little bit on them. If he has one of those days where he's dropping in the bucket, he'll have some coverage out on the edge.
I would be shocked if he does have that day. He could.
Yeah.
But if he rolls into Columbus, I mean, good for him if he's able to do it against this defense.
Yeah, Caleb Downs may end up being the most important person in this game, the defender for Ohio State. Fun game there. We look forward to the playoffs tonight and tomorrow. Those 4 great college football games we've waited a long, long time for. When we come back, we'll do trash and have some final thoughts. Any score in the Jack State-Ohio game? Yeah.
Ohio's up 7-0 on the Big C Little OCKS. We got to come back now, Jim.
Yeah, Ohio up 7-0 on Jack State. That scoreboard update brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. They bring you this hour. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by see Sterling and the crew throughout the holiday season with the kids out of school. Got those hand-cut chicken fingers. They love them right there. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales and so much more. Champy'sChicken.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings account, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the 4th quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Xavier Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to DanielMooreArt.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban. Order now at DanielMooreArt.com.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Back with you on the next round. We're getting ready for trash in a second. I got to tell you about a great gift here in just a second. Not for the holidays, but for your offensive lineman after LT tells us about Dr. B.
Dr. B, again, the best in the business. You're starting to thin out. You need to get preemptive here. Not only can he help maintain what you've got, he can actually grow some back. I'm speaking from experience. When I went to see him almost 3 years ago, I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. My hair has more than doubled in thickness. Dr. B pioneered the use of NeoGraft hair restoration in Alabama, remains at the forefront of hair preservation in the Southeast. He takes pride in treating each patient personally, applying his expertise to produce those quality results. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. Call today. Tell them the next round sent you, 205-319-0316 or online, t3hair.net.
Hey, congratulations to Nick Dunlap, PGA Rookie of the Year. I didn't know it had happened until Greg Burns said it on our show yesterday. He won back in January, the first rookie in a long time to win on the PGA Tour.
First amateur
to win on the PGA Tour, and then eventually turned pro during this calendar year. So he is the PGA Rookie of the Year, and congratulations to him. And congratulations to the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. They were gifted these beautiful Japanese, how would I say the name?
Katana
swords. That is Joe Burrow's gift to every offensive lineman on the team this year. Forget the isotoner gloves. He gave them all these Japanese katana swords.
That's pretty sweet. I just don't know where I would actually display that.
Over your fireplace.
It depends on what the decor looks like. Now, it's good for home intrusion.
It is. Keep that thing sharp, pull it down.
We had this dude that ended up...
flesh out a burglar at that point.
One out.
He won the best dressed at the Cowboy contest last night at Johnston.
Yeah.
And one of the things that put him over the top for me was one of his accessories. He had his knife, the holster on the back.
He had it sheathed.
Yeah, and so we brought him over, and our man Jared was like, hey, let me see that. And he pulled the knife out, and he just put up a piece of paper, and it went like hot knife through butter.
Yeah.
And then Brown asked him, have you ever had to use that thing?
Everybody was handling it, too. It was like, let me stick it in. Let me feel that.
What did he say when you asked him?
I said, have you ever had to use it? Thinking like, somebody goes, actually, I used to work out on a ranch. That's a castration knife.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I don't think you could castrate a...
you castrate almost anything
bull
with that.
Yes. I think it'd take their legs off, too.
What do you think the price tag on that is?
Oh,
I'm going to say...
I mean, it depends. If you
10 grand?
You can get like a modern sort of recreation of it for $100, or you can go with like a 500-year-old antique made like in the ancient way. And run you a few thousand, depending on the sword maker.
It was the real one is the one they use. Authentic is the word they use. Japanese katana sword. So congratulations to the Bengals offensive line. Let's get to trash today, and then we'll have some final thoughts on the playoffs after that. It's brought to you by Mortgage Right. Roulette wheel time. Spin it. Let's see what we got.
After the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But he's he's blind.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
And our friends at Mortgage Right, they are the mortgage experts. Hey, whenever it is buying time for you, you need to check in with our friends at Mortgage Right. They are here to help. Veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country. While the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You get more information, go to their website, mortgageright.com. Call the Birmingham office, 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. So, intriguing antiques routinely discovered in the most interesting of places. Amazing artifacts are found in secondhand stores, on grandma's shelf, or in the ground. This is, help me out, ancient Roman...
sarcophagus.
A sarcophagus, which is a coffin, right?
Yep. It's a fancy name for a coffin.
Hey, I like the ram here popping out to us.
Oh, wow. Do you want us to buy this and you be buried in that?
I want to be cremated like you, but you can throw my ashes in it. I don't want to waste any ground, any real estate, but man, I do like that.
I mean, that's pretty close to a actual Rams logo right there. That's not that far off, really.
It really. I've got one sweatshirt, and it's kind of an off logo that I haven't seen before.
Is that also a lion on the other end?
By the way, I got my favorite hoodie.
Kind of looks like it.
Is that an NFC Championship precursor? Rams Lions?
My favorite hoodie of all time, yesterday, gifted to me.
Oh, really? I mean, a Rams hoodie, obviously.
I randomly saw it on this celebrity at one of these Rams games, and I was like, in passing, I was like, I absolutely love that. And because we're going to New York, I was like, Maddie was like, hey, I've got this. I want to give you early Christmas present. I was like, I don't want an early Christmas present. She was like, oh, come on.
Just open it.
The Ram hoodie is legit. Legit. Anyway, back to
what it looks like.
You're wearing it to the game?
Oh, yeah. It'll be on at the game. So I'll get pictures.
Yeah. I got a Buccaneer one I want for Christmas. And
I just hope that I don't roll into where we're sitting and it's a bunch of Jets fans.
Well, you're in New York.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Jets home stadium.
Because, the last time I was in this situation, Baumhauer invited me down for a Dolphins game, Dolphins-Rams.
Yeah, how'd that turn out, by the way?
Well, the Dolphins won.
That's correct.
It was on Halloween, and I was in a box dressed in Rams gear with a bunch of Dolphins fans.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a lot to cheer about that day.
You did not.
That was the day I kept getting the red cards because it was COVID, and I was drinking my beer.
I forgot about that. You didn't have your mask back up, yeah.
Okay, so this is an ancient Roman
sarcophagus.
Yeah. That a tourist recently stumbled upon on a Bulgarian beach bar.
Oh, wow.
They were using it as a table, which is kind of a cool table, right?
Yeah, nowhere to put your legs. I mean, you got to stand around it, obviously.
Now, as originally reported by this dude of the Sacramento Bee, a former law enforcement officer was on vacation in Bulgaria when they noticed what appeared to be an old stone coffin positioned in the sand on the beach and being used as a patron table. Suspecting the table might be more important than servicing as a surface to hold drinks and snacks, tourists reported his suspicions to city officials. So weird. If I'm the bar, I'm pissed. I'm like, man, you're taking my table now. After archaeologists went to investigate, they were able to confirm that it was actually a 1,700-year-old sarcophagus of Roman origins. Now, it was, obviously, you see the designs here. It no longer holds any remains, which is good.
Well,
the top
that's pleasant.
was missing and had been replaced by a mismatched material to serve its most recent function. So there you go, man.
I got to say, it's easy to say now that I've seen this story, but if I waltz into a bar and people are standing around that, I'm like, they're using a coffin for a bar table. Like, I mean, doesn't it look obvious, Tyler?
It doesn't look like just a coffee table.
No. I mean,
I don't know. It could be an old school ottoman for, some Roman emperor.
I'd hate to see the chair that went with that ottoman.
Yeah.
That's a big chair.
But, I've got one of those ottomans down in the basement where you open it up. It's larger than a regular ottoman, and you put blankets in it.
Yeah.
And they had old fur blankets back in the Roman days, right?
It's animal
But
pelts.
how tired would you get moving that concrete block off the top to get your blanket out?
I know. How about
that would be tough.
How about we show up to do a live show there? We're like, well, we kind of wanted to do it over that corner. I have to move that table.
Florida man back in the news.
Always here.
Difficult to associate a good vibes only demand and a sunflower with an Amazon carjacking, I should say. But if police officers are right about their suspect, Hassan Rakeen, made that possible. Officers are accused Rakeen, 46, of hitting an Amazon driver in the face while wearing a red Good Vibes Only t-shirt on Wednesday and driving away with his truck. Police officers investigated the carjacking, arrested Rakeen. County inmate records show correctional officers booked Rakeen shortly before 1:40 a.m. His mugshot shows right there, sunflower tattoo peeking from his T-shirt's V-neck. Records show Rakeen is facing charges of robbery/carjacking and battery/touch strike. I've never heard of the old touch strike.
What is touch strike?
I haven't heard of that one either.
What is that?
I guess it's just kind of a love tap.
Yeah,
not
a little
like
touch strike.
Full force. Amazon spokesperson said no packages were stolen.
Well, that's good.
Don't say the name for us, but I'm spot on with that, right? No? You don't think so?
You're up.
I think it's Mike Bibby.
Oh, there is some Mike Bibby in there, yeah. Dunaway's is mouth. The mouth area is what Dunaway's
and the
like.
eyes and the
A
ears.
little bit of eyes. I can see it.
Well,
There's some
let me
Mike
see
Bibby
what
in
you
there.
said.
Well, I don't know if you'll know what this guy
I'll
looks
have to
like.
pull up this guy for you.
Yeah, I don't know if you know what he looks like.
Is he in a different city right now?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I do.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
think you're thinking about the same person. I really don't.
No, there's no way. You
Yeah.
know,
Nosferatu? Going
What-
back to the coffin, could this guy maybe a little bit?
Oh, yeah. This guy's got the ears to be the count for sure.
Yeah. That's got great ratings.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Are you going Christmas?
So I've got to be out of town on Christmas Day.
They got
but I'm-
theaters out of town.
Yeah, I already looked, and they
I've
don't
heard.
have the good seats. And
Oh, look
the-
at Tyler.
Yeah, what city are
I
you
gotta
going
sit
to?
with the peasants.
Mobile.
And Mobile's already sold out of this film?
Well, they don't have it. I mean, the good quality.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
seats in
that
the
kind of
theater.
demand down there?
No, none of them are sold out. It's almost sold out here though on Christmas.
Wow.
Wow. What's the name of the movie?
What a Christmas film.
Nosferatu.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're excited.
I am.
I saw the
If I can,
original
if I can
years
leave
ago.
early on Christmas, I might see it here.
Okay. We're off that day, so you do whatever you need.
After causing a 3-car
He's
crash.
got a beard right now.
No, that's not who I was thinking. I don't even know who that is. Colorado man whose blood alcohol content was later measured at 4 times over the legal limit. Arresting officers, he told them he was, quote, a professional drinker, according to arrest report. Probably something you don't want to say.
Yeah, but some people, they do hit the big leagues in this.
Investigators busted Matthew Campman, 34-year-old Denver resident, for driving under the influence, careless driving, and operating an uninsured vehicle following Wednesday afternoon accident. According to police, Campman, seen right there, plowed his 2000 Nissan Sentra into the rear of a Subaru, stopped in traffic on a street in Wheat Ridge, which is a Denver suburb. Subaru then lurched forward and hit a third car. When cops contacted Campman, he allegedly smelled of booze, had bloodshot eyes, his speech was slurred. When one of the officers asked if there was any indication of drug use, he said, quote, no drugs, man, just a lot of drinking. Campman would go on to explain that he was no amateur. Matthew told me that he was a professional drinker while slurring his speech. They made him take a breath test, 0.326 blood alcohol content.
Well, I thought
state
you'd
limit
die at some point.
plus 0.8. I mean, for certain people, for a 326 for you, probably, but this guy is a proclaimed self, professional drinker. He said he only consumed 10 drinks, but they did recover an empty Jim Beam shooter in his pants pocket, numerous empty and full Jim Beam shooters, and several empty Modelo beer cans.
I've got a bad habit when I drink. I don't rarely drink a lot, but when I have the second one, usually I look at Maggie, and for some reason, this is my sign I'm getting tipsy. And I'll do this, and she'll be like, can't feel your cheeks, can you? And I'm like, no. So
you can't feel your cheeks?
Yeah. My second old fashioned the other night, the holiday old fashioned. I went, and not even doing it to her. I just did it while I was sitting at the table. And she goes, "My God, are you already buzzed?" And I said, "I can't feel my cheeks."
Can she outdrink you?
Oh God, yes, yes. I'm trying to think of anybody who can't. I mean, Brown outdrinks me now. I'm trying to think of anybody up here.
When's the last time I had 2 bushwhackers? We were at the.
That's
was that more than you could have?
That was 1 3/4 more than I had. Maybe Emily Grace, but she does shots better than I do.
Hey, does that next Saturday triple-header, by the way, with the Cardinals in SoFi, does that go against any of the playoff games?
No, playoffs aren't again until December 31st and January 1st.
Okay. So. Boy, we got a lot of football coming
we
up.
do. Thank God.
The good stuff. We're to the good stuff.
Yeah. Final story here on Trash today. DoorDash has their weirdest items people have ordered. So as the year winds down, DoorDash released a report on 2024's most unforgettable moments, quirky essentials, eyebrow-raising splurges, cultural events, and TikTok trends that consumers I've never done
DoorDash. I've never done DoorDash other than food. But I can order other items, is what you're telling me.
Oh, yeah. And DoorDash, because they did this commercial where the ants are like partying in that cake, and the mean-looking Asian woman comes in and she orders Raid. That's part of DoorDash.
Yeah, okay.
So here you go. $4,000 worth of skin cream.
Wow.
Boy, that is a lot of skin cream.
Lemire moisturizing face cream. $5,000 worth of green beans.
Thanksgiving green bean casserole, boys.
5 G's, baby.
An order for a single banana that costs 53 cents. I would be nervous I would bruise a banana.
Yeah. At that point, I'm gonna. Can you got DoorDash experience or somebody you know does? So can you say I'm not going to go pick that up for 53 cents, or do you have to pick it up?
And I assume that's how much the customer paid. So
yeah, but you get your fee regardless, right? It doesn't matter.
They say we get all of the delivery fee, but that's really the max amount they'll put towards it, and then you've got tip, and that's basically it.
And then finally, an order for a cup of ranch and a single straw.
That's a little
10 cents. I mean, some of these things are stupid.
That is pretty stupid. Yeah, you're just doing it to make a point at that.
But I guess what I'm asking, if you got a single banana pop up, could you pass on that order?
Oh yeah, I could pass on it.
Yeah.
But they might punish me for it later.
Ooh.
They'll be like, "Oh, you don't want to drive 20 miles for $2? Fine, I guess you don't want to work today."
Now, Keith says the MyBookie.ag chat room, he had a buddy that door-dashed a 55-inch TV in Tuscaloosa this year. Just didn't want to drive to get it.
Oh yeah, they've got I've been to Party City before. For
balloons?
Yeah. Got to figure out how to get in all these balloons in my car.
That's hilarious.
That's awful, Tyler.
At least it wasn't some kind of dirty nurse costume you were having to deliver. That is Trash, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned home buying veteran, their great service and low rates make the process so easy. Whether you're looking for your first home or your final home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
We have a new head coach while a team's playing?
That's the reports right now. It is being reported so much right now. I'm not entirely certain who reported it first, but I think it was Justin Hokanson of On3. Jacksonville State, my old school, is going to hire Auburn co-defensive coordinator Charles Kelly. According to reports, apparently Auburn players are being told about this as we speak, and Jacksonville State is playing as we speak. So Charles Kelly appears to be their next head coach.
Well,
he's got a past at Jacksonville State. I mean, Charles Kelly's coached a lot of places. This guy he's been around the block.
It seems like they really wanted a local tie.
It does feel that way. I
agree
with
maybe
you,
because, from the outside perspective, people don't realize, the program that Jack State's put together.
Yeah, I ask, when have they consistently been bad over the last 20 years? They've had a bad year here or there, but it has been a very consistent program. But Charles Kelly obviously is he's an Ozark guy. He's from Ozark, but he's coached all over the Southeast. So he's
dog of a recruiter, really good.
Yeah, and he's got connections everywhere. I mean, he's been just in the SEC. He's been at Auburn, Tennessee, and Alabama.
Yeah.
So he's recruited around here, but he goes back to the Bill Burgess days at Jacksonville State. That's how long Rick's dad when he was the coach.
Florida State, Colorado,
Georgia Tech, Colorado, Florida State.
Last 3 jobs though, with Nick Saban, with Deion Sanders, and then with Hugh Freeze.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. So that guy has seen some recruiting in his time.
Absolutely. All right. So that's what we end the show on today. It's not going well for Jack State on the field. Bobble punt, we get it off. Ohio's beating them 14-7. Then the Gasparilla Bowl with Florida and Tulane. And then we do the good stuff, the playoffs tonight and tomorrow. We'll be with you live on Monday at 9 a.m. Central Time as we get ready to react to the playoffs and set the quarterfinal matchups and all that stuff on Monday. And don't forget Auburn Basketball, 3:30 tomorrow. If you're still trying to get in the building, our friends at ATIX will help you out there to get in there and get that ticket if you don't have one right now. That's our show today. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.